Welcome back to the Upside Sports Network. My name is Michael. Appreciate you guys joining us for the Yankees and Mets series tonight. It's going to be a very interesting series as the Subway Series gets underway. Taijuan Walker versus Jordan Montgomery for the Yankees. Already one away on a tapper back to Walker for DJ LeMahieu. It's now Aaron Judge up. He'll be followed by Anthony Rizzo. Gleyber Torres is your designated hitter. Matt Carpenter is out in right. Donaldson at third base. Hicks in left. IKF at short, and Jose Trevino is your catcher. Welcome in, Zach. Appreciate you. Just getting everything set for y'all. It's now 2-2 to Aaron Judge. Pretty good. Been doing a lot of work trying to get the channel up and going in a number of different ways. Doing a little bit more research on getting to that monetization threshold anyway. Did a little bit of work as far as getting the podcast up and running. Yeah, we did put out a short today. We recorded it the other day anyway, but forgot we hadn't posted it yet, so we went ahead and put that out there. But that's the one thing I was looking at today is the shorts apparently don't really help the channel aside from gaining subscribers, which is nice. That's kind of what I'm going for right now. 3-2 count now to Judge. But that one's hit hard out to right center, going back. And that one's gone. Aaron Judge, home run here in the first inning, out to right center. That was a beautiful piece of hitting. That's why he's going to be probably the MVP in the American League. Who do I want to win? I don't really have a dog in the fight. I mean, if I had to pick one, I'd probably say the Yanks, just because there's a lot of players on the Yanks that came from other teams that I really enjoyed watching play. But the Mets are normally the team I'd root for in this series, so I'm torn both ways. If you want to comment below, just make sure you hit that subscribe button, and you should be able to comment all you want. 1-0 here, Yankees on top. The game is at the Mets home ballpark. This one going the other way is Rizzo out to the wall. That one's gone. Back-to-back home runs here in the top of the first for the New York Yankees, and they're up 2-0. Bronx Bombers really showing their name today. 3 batters in, and it's 2-0. Ouch. 374 feet, 103 miles an hour off the bat. Both home runs going the other way. It's not all about being pull happy. Gleyber Torres due up next, to be followed by Matt Carpenter, Donaldson, Hicks, IKF, and Trevino. First home run for Rizzo since July 2nd. First ball swinging for Gleyber Torres, not even having to move at all, is the center fielder. Brennan Nimmo makes the catch, and there's 2 away. Thank you guys for joining us again. Really appreciate it. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already, please do so, and feel free to comment all you want in the chat there. But we're about ready for to put out our first podcast anyway on Anchor. We'll put out the link to that eventually once we do get that up. But if you haven't subscribed to us, make sure you do so and follow us on Twitter at UpsideSN. Matt Carpenter due next, hitting .323 on the year. Did not start the season with the Yankees, but certainly has made an impression since he's come over. 14 home runs on the year. He's been absolutely clobbering the ball. Right at the knees there, and it's 1-1. Another line shot down the first base line, and it's 1-2. They show the replay of the Aaron Judge home run. Walker's 15th pitch here of the first. Little tapper out to first base. Alonso flips to Walker, covering and makes the catch. That's the third out of the inning. Walker gets out of the first, but does give up 2 solo home runs, one to MVP favorite Aaron Judge, another to Anthony Rizzo. We go to the bottom half of the first. Yanks up 2-0. Now for the Mets anyway, they will have Brendan Nimmo leading off in center, Starling Marte in right, Francisco Lindor batting third at shortstop, Pete Alonso at first, Mark Canha in left, Eduardo Escobar at third base, McNeil at second, Davis is your DH today, and Nitto is doing the catching. Jordan Montgomery is your starter for the Yankees today. Before we came on the air about an hour ago, there's a little bit of news anyway that we'll make a video on as soon as we finish our doubleheader tonight. We'll do the Julio Jones signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's a scary wide receiving core. Now, of course, he has had his own injury issues over the past year or two anyway. Has struggled with ineffectiveness as far as getting in the end zone. But he's not going to be asked to carry the load in Tampa Bay. You have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin for that. If you're just joining us, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Say hello in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from. The Battle in New York underway. Looks like news out of the Chicago Cubs anyway. David Robertson was told he's not going to play in at least this or yesterday's game, and today seems like there's some trade chatter behind the scenes. Some of the New York media is actually reporting that both the Mets and Yankees, and of course many more teams will be interested, but the Yankees and Mets in particular have both at least reached out for him. Makes sense. Both teams need to add bullpen. Brendan Nimmo takes strike one here, hitting .266 on the year. Takes another one right at the knees, and it's 0-2 now. Lefty on lefty. No, I did a lot of work today. I do need to get a haircut, though. Get one of those this weekend. That one beneath the zone, and it's 1-2. Thanks for joining us, Valley. The Yanks defense will be Hicks, Judge, and Carpenter in the outfield. Donaldson, IKF, LeMahieu, and Rizzo. Trevino is your catcher, and Montgomery, of course, is your starter. Yeah, I was playing with a dog earlier, but, I mean, it's a blue shirt. I don't know. The 1-2. Little tapper foul, and we'll do it again. Appreciate you guys joining us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Feel free to say hi in the chat once you do. Did the Mets game on Sunday night. They performed very well. Got their bats going again. After the first two games of that series versus San Diego, they were a complete no-show. The pitch by Montgomery. Again, tapped foul. The Mets, of course, are interested in improving that lineup as well. They already acquired Daniel Vogelbach for their left-handed complement at designated hitter. That's why he's not out there right now. He crushes righties, does not do so well against lefties. It's said they're looking at Trey Mancini to be the right-handed complement of that designated hitter group. They already have the speed guy off the bench in Jankowski, so they don't really need to do that. Another one, foul off the bat of Nimmo down the third base line this time. The 1-2 again. Right on the outside corner, but does not get the call. Both Trevino and Montgomery thought that one was good. He didn't miss by much, if at all. The 2-2 pitch. Popped into shallow center. This one's going to drop, though. No. Nice hustling play there. Aaron Judge able to come on and make the play. Welcome in, Cobra. Possibly, but there's supposedly the Cardinals are one of the front runners as well, so you can't rule them out. I didn't think they were going to be a serious contender for Juan Soto at all, but it seems like they might be doing a little bit of a change in the way they're going to attack things going forward. They always seem to be hovering around playoff contention. Maybe they're not happy with that anymore. They want to try to load up. That's not been their MO. Do I expect the Cardinals to end up getting him? No. But if I had to guess, Padres make a lot of sense. Dodgers, if they really want to sell out this trade deadline season like they did last year, he's probably the best option for them outside of Ohtani. But if I'm the Dodgers, I save my chips and I go for Ohtani instead. I think his impact for you is a lot more. But thanks again for joining us. Marte fouls that one off. Another strike right at the knees there by Montgomery, and it's 0-2. The other news out of Major League Baseball is Tarek Skubal and pretty much the entire Detroit Tigers roster, as it should be, is on the trade block. The only player I'd expect them to try to hold on to is probably a piece like Riley Green. Yeah. Soto, I think, is more of a luxury item for you if you're a Dodger fan. You already have a high-priced outfield right now with Taylor, Mookie Betts, Bellinger, which he probably won't be around next year. But you got a lot of money already tied up out there. The Dodgers, anyway, or excuse me, the Padres. I think Soto actually means more to you than Ohtani would, because I think you got a lot of pitching already. This one's a hard hit ball down the left field line. Will it stay fair? It does. Another solo home run. That's the third of the game, and we're not even out of the first inning. The Battle of New York is really underway finally. That's Marte's 10th home run of the year. 353 feet, 106 off the bat. It's now 2-1. Yeah. Both of them are still pretty young. Ohtani's only like 28, 29, somewhere in there. Soto's like 25. Both of them Soto will be 25 at the end of his contract. I think Ohtani, give him another 5-6 years of great baseball. After that, not so much. For Soto, you're probably looking at 10 to 12 great years and then a slow decline. Soto's 23, but at the end of the contract, he'll be 25. First pitch here to Lindor. Ben's in there. Strike one. That was a nice piece of hitting by Marte. I was very surprised that there weren't more teams in on it. Yeah, I agree. Especially there's no guarantee that Ohtani actually returns if you're a Padre fan once his free agency is due. I think if you negotiate the deal for Soto, you can go ahead and hammer out that $500+ million deal. Other news around baseball is the Miami Marlins are pretty much put everybody on their roster that's on the trade market now, except for Sandy Alcantara. Understandable. He is their future. He is their current ace. Tapped foul, and it's 0-2. Lindor hitting .247 this year. Jazz is available. That was put out there today by the Miami front office anyway. Pretty much everybody except for Alcantara is. Now, that doesn't mean Jazz Chisholm's just going to be given away, but maybe you could get him for, high-quality prospects, maybe some lower-end major league talent already on the roster. Jazz Chisholm's a fantastic player, so you're not just going to get him for free. Time here for Lindor. Appreciate you guys joining us. If you want to join the chat, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Say hello. Jazz, Tatis, Soto, and Machado. I don't think there's any way that happens, but Soto, Tatis, and Machado seems a lot more likely. I just don't think Jazz Chisholm would fit with the San Diego Padres. They already have Cronenworth there. He'll be a much cheaper option for, 5-6 years. And if he's the one piece that you have to expend, sure, and then you go the cheaper route at short. And you have Profar eventually to play there if Cronenworth does leave. Lindor laces this one out to right. That one gets down and goes all the way down to the corner. Carpenter digs it out, and Lindor stops at second. One out double here. 2-1. We've seen 3 home runs. You got Kim as well, yeah. Kim, I think, is probably going to go the other way in that type of a deal if he gets Soto, though. Maybe he catches fire with the Nationals and gives them another lottery ticket to hope on. Because I don't think Kim does much for the Padres other than give them depth. It just hasn't worked out in San Diego. He could use a fresh start. Well, yeah, Abrams is definitely going, but I'm saying you get Abrams, pretty much anybody of value that the Nationals want, they're going to get. I would have said that last year, but he's having a terrible year this year. I'm not sure the Nationals take him on. Pete Alonso due next. Montgomery steps off. Alonso hitting .274. Yeah, but his value before this season, I think, was like 4 times as high as what it is now. Saying he has a promising future might be a little bit of a stretch at this point. Does he have a future in Major League Baseball? Of course. Is it something that they're willing to is it something that they're willing to okay. Is it something they're willing to play Trent Grisham over some of their other outfielders that they have, Robles, etc.? Yeah, Ruiz would be a nice piece for them. He's having a decent year for them. 2-0 now to Alonso. That one just misses the inside corner. But I think that deal, if they do make it, it's going to be more about Gore, Adams, Hassel, grab bag full of minor leaguers from the A-ball level. That's probably what the deal is going to probably end up being. 3-1 now to Alonso. This one driven out into left center, all the way to the wall. It'll be back-to-back doubles now, and the game is going to be tied 2-2. Yeah, I could see the reason why. I mean, both of them are good prospects for the Padres as well. Wood 3, Merrill 4. Both of them are in lower level prospects. Mark Canadu next, hitting 270 on the year, a 754 slug, or OPS anyway. See if he can keep things going here for the Mets. Swing and a miss. Both teams have not gotten off to the start they had hoped for on the mound. One, two now to Canna. It'll be Escobar next. Didn't get to see him in the game we watched on Sunday. Not having as good a year as I would have thought when they signed him in free agency. One of the few moves that they've made that didn't work out. Yet, anyway. Canna takes that one right down the middle, and it's 2 away now. On second look, it was a little bit more towards the inside of the plate, but I don't see the reason for the argument. If it's close, you can't just sit there and take it. Teach you that in Little League. Ball one here to Escobar, batting from the right side. Escobar hitting 219, 11 homers, 40 RBIs, and a 661 OPS. Escobar hits this one hard, but nope. That one's gone. Aaron Hicks looked like he had a beat on it. That went right over his head. Nice piece of hitting there by Escobar. 2-run home run, and it's now 4-2 Mets. Escobar's 12th of the year, 385 feet, 105 off the bat. Wow. Looks like we're not going to have a pitcher's duel tonight. That's the 4th home run of the game already. One by Judge and Rizzo for the Yanks. Marte and Escobar for the Mets. Now we're going to have a mound visit here for the Yanks. Montgomery already up to 30 pitches. Giving up 4 hits in the inning, has only recorded 2 outs. Things are not going well. That was the one worry I had about the New York Yankees anyway, was their starting pitching. Is it going to hold up this year? I don't think it will down the stretch. That's why I think they need to add at least one arm to that rotation, preferably a top of the rotation arm like Luis Castillo. They don't just need an innings eater. Jeff McNeil takes that one outside, and it's 1-0. McNeil hitting 293 anyway on the year. The set by Montgomery, and misses the location on that one quite badly. Seven first-inning runs allowed in his last 3 starts, 3 in his first 17. That's interesting. The pitch popped up by McNeil, and this should end it. Hicks is in a few steps and makes the catch. This one he definitely had a beat on, and that will end the inning. Mets take the lead, though, 4-2 on the strength of that Eduardo Escobar home run. And we go to the top of the second. Yanks will have Donaldson, Hicks, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa due up. If you're just joining us, make sure you hit that subscribe button and feel free to say hi. Checking in on some other scores. Miami and Cincinnati scoreless. Baltimore on top of Tampa, 1-0 in the bottom of the second. Braves on top of Philadelphia, 1-0 in the bottom of the second. Toronto 3-1 over the Cardinals at the moment. Guardians on top of Boston, 2-0. Boston did not have a good weekend. They were absolutely trounced by the Toronto Blue Jays, 28-5, and didn't have much better showing the following night. They have their injury issues with their rotation. Chris Sale took a liner in his first start back. He's out another month. Nathan Eovaldi's missed some time. Kike Hernandez has missed some time. You got to wonder if they're really going to buy at the deadline or if they're just going to stand pat and try to hold down a wild card spot. If I'm the Red Sox, I'd probably stay where I'm at. You don't put it all on this year, especially when you're not sure about the health of your frontline starters. Padres and Tigers, no score so far in the top of the second. Cubs beat the Pirates today, 4-2. And just about to get underway here in the top of the second. It'll be Josh Donaldson, who came over in that trade with the Minnesota Twins. I'm still wondering about the reasons behind the trade for the Yankees. I understand you wanted a third baseman anyway. You didn't want to shell out the big dollars for a guy like Carlos Correa. But by making that move, you allowed the Twins to sign Carlos Correa. Still not sure if that was the best decision long term. Little one hop smash to Lindor makes the play onto first. One away. Aaron Hicks will be next, hitting .238, 709 OPS. He has 6 home runs on the year with 30 RBIs. He missed a lot of time, of course, last year due to injury. Still kind of working himself back into good shape here for the Yankees, anyway. Swing and a miss. Hicks chases that one outside of the zone. And it's quickly 0-2. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you can comment all you want. Have some fun with us as we join or watch the Yankees and Mets game together. Discuss some trade deadline stuff. Ken Rosenthal broke the news a couple of days ago anyway that the LA Angels had actually set a price for Shohei Ohtani. Had some doubters out there on some of my videos when I started quoting that. Appreciate you guys following and keeping up with all the news for me. I didn't even have to comment back. That was very nice. Hard hit ball by Hicks up the middle, and he's on with 1 out. But the report anyway basically established that, or said that they wanted 2 established major leaguers or more, essentially. Basically, they want MLB ready talent to go back to the Angels in a trade for Shohei. The reasoning in the Ken Rosenthal piece was that they want to remain in playoff contention this year. My question is, what playoff contention are they talking about? The LA Angels have been the worst team in baseball since May 25th, and it hasn't been close. So what exactly are they doing? Walker's pitch misses low there, and it's 1-0. Good piece of hitting by Hicks there. He's definitely more of a hits for average type of player anyway than he is a power guy for Aaron Hicks. The more experience he gets this year, imagine that bat will come around even more. IKF is in the box. Offensively, he's a little bit below average at the plate as IKF. Defensively, though, he is still a very good shortstop. This one laced out into right center will get down. Marte up with it quickly. Makes a strong throw into second, but Hicks is already long gone. Runners on the corners now with 1 away in the top of the second. That's IKF's 13th straight game with a hit. He doesn't strike out too much. He does make a lot of contact, does not make strong contact though, which is the reason why he's a little bit below average at the plate as an offensive player. Jose Trevino digging in 67 games, has 7 home runs, 29 RBIs, and a .264 batting average. The set by Walker and the pitch well outside, not even close, and it's 1-0. Sounds like Ian Happ and Wilson Contreras of the Cubs both know that one of them, if not both, will be traded. Something to keep your eye on over the next few hours. A report came out today that Wilson Contreras, the catcher anyway for the Cubs, there was some acrimony about whether or not he's going to be able to catch for the other teams that are interested in trading for him, whether he can handle a pitching staff. Now, he handled the Cubs pitching staff over the years pretty well, but he's not a great defender. In fact, I think he's a negative defensive runs saved as a catcher. So maybe it sounds like they're wanting to deploy him as just a bat, maybe a designated hitter at some of the locations that are interested in trading for him. Well, in that case, then why even trade for him? Trade for a better hitter if you could. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It seems like teams that are willing to play him at catcher will be willing to give up a little bit more to get him. His offense is sorely lacking at the catcher position. The 2-1 here. Pickoff attempt. Oh, that was close. That was close there at first base. Did they get him? They say they do. They pick off IKF, and now there's 2 away. Ooh, that was pretty close, though. He did slap that tag down pretty quick. That was a nice move by Alonso getting it down that fast. It was a good throw, but yep, the tag got there just in time. Caught him napping over there. Well, the 2-1 swung on and missed by Trevino. The Mets they went from a runners on the corner situation with a 2-1 count. Now it's 2-2 with 2 away and a chance to get out of the inning here with a strike. That one misses low and it goes full anyway. Should Trevino reach, it will be DJ LeMahieu. And then Aaron Judge, who hit that home run back in the first anyway, to right center field. Walker's pitch tapped by Trevino. And that'll remain 3-2. Multiple executives now coming out of the woodwork commenting on the Soto deal. That's going to be the biggest trade haul in Major League Baseball history. Trevino lines that one up the middle, but Trevino makes the snare. And we go to the bottom of the second. It'll be Davis, Nitto, and Nimmo. Mets on top 4-2. But every day that goes by, it seems like a Soto deal is becoming more and more likely than I would have thought at the outset of when it was announced that he was on the block. We had the live stream on Sunday anyway, and the Red Sox were in the trade discussions about whether or not they'd sell at the deadline. Of course, it was all in response to that 28-5 lashing they took by the Blue Jays. I told you guys then that don't read anything into what you're hearing right now. This is just an overreaction to the 28-5 game, and that seems to be exactly what's happening. Red Sox, of course, coming out and saying that they're not trading away Xander Bogaerts. News out of Washington about Juan Soto is that they're not going to move him until they move Josh Bell first. There's 3 teams in on him, apparently. Astros, Brewers, and Mets. Trey Mancini basically telling reporters he thinks he's going to be traded before the deadline. You got to think that the Mets are going to get one of Josh Bell or Trey Mancini. If I had to guess, I'd say they're going to end up with Mancini. They already have Alonso there at first. They don't have regular at-bats for Josh Bell, so why waste the prospect capital? San Francisco Giants are said to be targeting Ramon Laureano, one of the many pieces the Oakland A's have tried to move over the past 3-4 months anyway, since the season began. Sports Illustrated reporting that the Mets and Cubs have actually talked about sending Wilson Contreras and David Robertson to the Mets for multiple prospects. You got to imagine that'd be a lot of lower level prospects coming in. I don't see any top prospect going from the Mets in that type of a deal. Robertson's a decent bullpen option at this point. Wilson's a great offensive catcher, but not much else. Would fit in nicely there in New York. The rest of the division has lots of good catching. First pitch here by Montgomery. Bends in there for a strike. This one tapped foul, and it's now quickly 0-2. Everybody readjusts their batting gloves for about the millionth time. Can't wait till we get that out of the game. The pitch by Montgomery. Tapped out to short. IKF whips it onto first, and that's the first out of the inning. Montgomery trying to bounce back after a rough first inning. In case you're just joining us, Aaron Judge had a solo home run in the first, out to right center. Rizzo out to left center right after that. That was all the scoring for the Yanks in the top of the first. The Mets countered with 4 runs of their own in the bottom half of the first. Marte a solo home run. Lindor got a double. Alonso a double to drive in Lindor. And then a 2-run home run by Eduardo Escobar. And that's where our score sits now at 4-2. First pitch here to Nitto. Well out in front. And it's 0-1. Oh and 2 now. Montgomery working ahead in this count. This one tapped foul, and it remains 0-2. Any Yankee fans out there? You're going to let the Padres and Cardinals and Dodgers and Mets fight for Soto without getting in there? I think you should, but what do you guys think? That one tapped foul again. The 0-2 pitch. Tap foul yet again, making Montgomery work. 83-mile-an-hour changeup, pulled down the third base line, foul. You got to imagine if the Mets do end up making the trade for Soto, that they will have to give up probably Brandon Nimmo on their major league roster. Maybe some other pieces out there with them. Move Marte into center. That might not work long term for that contract with that Marte signed, but for now it will work. Mets have gone with terrible defense in center before. Not that Marte is terrible right now, but in a year or two when his wheels start to fall off, you got to wonder about that. Think back to Yoenis Cespedes and how that experiment went out there in center. Not saying Marte's nearly that bad, but it's not like they're afraid of bad defense out there. A wave and a miss by Nitto, and there are now 2 away. Good off-speed pitch, just off the outside corner. Nitto unable to make contact. Feel free to send any comment in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're pulling for. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at UpsideSN. Brennan Nimmo digs in. First ball swinging, rolls over it. LeMahieu makes the play onto first. That's the third out of the inning. Montgomery, a nice bounce back inning there. It'll be LeMahieu, Judge, and Rizzo due up for the Yanks in the top of the third. Yankees 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors. Mets 4 runs, 4 hits, no errors. 2 home runs for the Yankees as they're scoring. A couple home runs by the Mets. And another driven in on a double by Alonso. And their score, of course, is 4-2. Atlanta Braves apparently have top 2 targets right now on their list, include Andrew Benintendi. That makes sense for their outfield. After Duvall suffered I forget what the injury was, but I think it was a broken wrist. He'll be out for the year. Luis Castillo is atop their list as well. But my question is, what exactly is Atlanta going to trade away? I mean, they just traded away Drew Waters to help build back that prospect depth, and you're immediately going to turn around and give it away? I don't know if that's a good move for them to go after Luis Castillo. I can understand the reason why they want him. I mean, everybody would want a great ace-type starter anyway, but not everybody can play the price to play the poker anyway. Andrew Benintendi makes a little bit more sense. A good prospect probably gets that type of deal done. Replaces that bat in the lineup. I think they might go for more of an innings eater type at the back end of the rotation. And, of course, bullpen help. Everybody needs bullpen. That's the news right now from The Athletic. Pretty much trade deadline news breaking like every 20, 30 minutes. One headline for one team, another headline for another. Rangers signed their first-round pick, Kumar Rocker, today. Made it official, $5.2 million, well under slot for him. They signed a bunch of their other draft picks, saving lots of money later on down the line, trying to save every penny they can to sign their fourth-round pick, Brock Porter, who came into the draft as the top-ranked high school pitcher in the entire draft. Looks like we're just coming back from commercial break. DeGrom is going to make his final rehab start here in the next couple of days for the Mets. He should be back up within the next week or two. For the Mets, you don't really want to push him too hard, though, coming back from injury. He hasn't pitched since last year, since July of last year anyway. LeMahieu lifts this one out to right. Marte moves a couple of steps over and makes the catch. One away. Aaron Judge due next. Judge hitting .296 on the year. 38 home runs now. 82 RBIs. And over 1,000 OPS. If he doesn't finish as the AL MVP, I don't know who will. He's been that good. Walker's pitch misses well beneath the zone, and it's 1-0. Got to imagine Walker's going to probably try to pitch around him. 1-1 now, the count to Judge. Unable to hold off on that one. Looks like that splitter mislocation, but still able to entice the swing. Now 1-2. That one beneath the zone, but chased by Aaron Judge, and that's the second out of the inning. Walker's really rebounded nicely after running into a little bit of a brick wall in that first inning. Anthony Rizzo will be next, hitting .224 on the year and .833 OPS. Has 23 home runs on the year now with 58 RBIs. Signed that multi-year deal this offseason to remain in New York. Off speed right there in the zone, and it's 0-1. Yanks were believed to be interested in Freddie Freeman, but not necessarily at his dollar figure anyway. But they were in the market almost all the way until the very end, and then decided to make their mind up and say, hey, we'll save the money and go ahead and make the trade for IKF and Donaldson after that. The results for the Yankees so far have been great. I still wonder about what it's going to end up looking like. They don't give you championship banners anyway for how you do until the All-Star break. They give you that World Series trophy after you win it all. 1-2 now to Rizzo. The set by Walker and the pitch. Hard hit ball beats the shift though and drops in front of Marte. A 2-out single by Rizzo. Gleyber Torres due next. Appreciate you guys joining us. If you're just joining us, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button. You'll be free to comment as much as you want. Let us know where you're watching from, who you'd like to see your team go get. If you're a Yankees fan, what do you see them doing at the deadline? If you're like me, I believe they're going to go out there and get a starting pitcher, quite possibly Luis Castillo. They're going to try to move Joey Gallo, of course, because that just hasn't worked. He's not in the lineup yet again today. Last I checked, he was hitting like 166, something like that. Striking out a massive percentage of the time. Torres due up, flied out in the first anyway. He's hitting 266 with an 802 OPS. That one hits him. Did it get him on the actual protection? That is the question. Or did it get him on the hand? If I had to guess, it bounced off the padding. Looking at it, went off the forearm, but it could have gone off that elbow protector as well. Another angle of it. Maybe it did catch the forearm flush. Don't want to see that. Don't need to see a forearm injury. It'll now be first and second, though, for Matt Carpenter. Been one of the hottest hitters in all of baseball since he joined the Yankees. This one just off the plate inside. He was originally brought up because of the Josh Donaldson scuffle that he had, racist comments, etc., the suspension that he got from his team against the White Sox anyway, the comments that he had for Tim Anderson. Ever since then, he's been so good. He's been playing pretty much every day now for the Yanks. Joey Gallo's been more of a bench player lately, taking his spot essentially in the lineup. No Stanton in the lineup today either for the Yanks. Home run leaders since his call-up anyway. Aaron Judge with 21. Alvarez with 16. Matt Carpenter with 14. Corey Seager also tied with 14 for the most home runs in the AL since then. Tapped foul, and it's 2-1. Carpenter just did not have a great couple of years anyway at the end of his time with the St. Louis Cardinals. Longtime Cardinal was actually allowed to go elsewhere. He had offers to start with other clubs at the outset of the season, but he wanted to prove himself with the Texas Rangers, play for his hometown team. There just wasn't any at-bats ever there for him, though, as he fouls this one down the first base line again. And so the Rangers were willing to release him from his minor league deal and allow him to go elsewhere to seek another opportunity. Not that he wasn't performing in the minors at all. They just didn't have room for him on the big league roster, as they were keeping Mitch Garver on the major league roster at the time because he was only able to be a DH. That spot probably would have gone to Matt Carpenter, but because they chose to keep Garver, allowed the Yanks to make the acquisition for Matt Carpenter. 2-2 now. Welcome back, Zach. You want the Yanks? There's a lot of Rangers connections, so I'm probably pulling for the Yanks too if I had to pick a team. This one's lifted foul. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about anyway. Contreras and Happ are definitely going to be leaving the Cubs. Contreras for sure. The question is he going to go to a team that wants him as a catcher or just wants him as a designated hitter? You're good. I still haven't even been able to eat my dinner anyway. I try to sneak a bite here and there when I can. This one's fouled away again, and we'll do it all over. Still 2-2. Oh, some cheese sticks, taquitos, fries, some oysters, that kind of thing. Was planning on doing steak and that kind of thing, but figured I'd do a live instead. Kind of hard to cook a steak when I'm on a live. Swing and a miss by Carpenter, and they go down in the top of the third. Still 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Yanks. 4 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Mets. Well, we're not talking fresh oysters here. We're talking like air-fried oysters, that kind of thing. Finger food. Tomorrow I get off of work around 5, so I'll probably do some actually cook tomorrow anyway. Went to the store today and found some turkey wings that were ridiculously cheap, and so figure we'll try to make something with those. Tomorrow, I think I wrote these down for the week. I'm going to try to do lives pretty much every day this week if I can from here on out. Albert Pujols gets a standing ovation in Toronto, as he should. Tomorrow, I was going to try to do a doubleheader, but there's not really another game late in the late window to be able to do it. So I'll either do the Rays and Orioles or the Yanks and Mets again. We'll see. No, I'm talking like turkey wings. If I'm talking hot wings, I'm probably doing – I like Frank's on there if I had to choose. Frank's Red Hot. But these turkey wings are going to be more slow cooked in the oven, that kind of thing. Thursday, I'll be doing the Rangers versus the Angels. That's scheduled to be Shohei Ohtani's start anyway. That could probably be his last start if he is traded by the deadline. That should be interesting. Tomorrow, if I get off early enough, if they let me out early, I could do the Reds and Marlins for Luis Castillo's last start. Possibly. I don't know about that. The Rockies, they're a very up and down team. Sometimes they get it done, sometimes they don't. White Sox, I believe, should be the front runner in contention for Quintana. Acquisition costs should be cheaper. They know the player better than most of the other teams. That kind of thing. Friday, we'll be doing either the Twins and Padres, Rangers and Angels, or Cubs and Giants. And then we'll do a doubleheader on Saturday. We'll do one of the early games. Maybe Braves and Diamondbacks, Reds and Orioles, something like that. Yeah, I got the MLB TV going. I've got it on. I'm not sure whose broadcast I'm watching. I want to say it's the Yanks broadcast. Swing and a miss by Marte, and he's down 0-2. 10 home runs, 42 RBIs, and a 298 average, 813 OPS. Where are you going? Work or for fun? That one misses the zone, and it's 1-2. There aren't too many late games either on Saturday. The only one there I might join in the second half of the game is the Rangers and Angels on Saturday. And then Sunday, there's a bunch of games that I can do. The Tigers and Blue Jays will definitely do. That's the early game of the day, the 11 o'clock game on Peacock. Sunday Night Baseball is the Cubs and Giants. That should be fun. You doing the Alaskan cruise thing? Well, the Tigers should be interesting just because they have pretty much everybody for sale right now, including Tarek Skubal. I'm not really sure why everybody's excited about him. I mean, he's having a decent year this year. He's, of course, very young, and starting pitching, if you can get starting pitching at this age, if they do become an ace, you're set. But I don't know about that. Marte stays alive and taps that one foul. We'll do it again. 7-day cruise. Hope you have a good time. The Cubs-Giants game, I'm curious to see which pieces are still there on the Cubs at that point. I think you said 2. I think the Javi Baez deal takes them out of being good for 4 years, at least. That division is going to be fought between the Twins, White Sox, and Guardians for at least the next 4 years, if I had to guess. Marte taps this one foul down the third base line, and we'll do it yet again. Really driving up that pitch count today. Lindor will be next, followed by Alonso. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's too distracting when I have the sound on. Oh, there's a nice base hit. Left center field. That one's going to go all the way, almost all the way to the wall anyway. Judge is able to cut it off, but Marte is in there with a stand-up double. Very nice piece of hitting. Still shocked he only went for 4 years, $80 million to the Mets. I would have sworn he would have gotten a 5th year. Well, I think the Mets are built for the postseason a little bit better just because I think their starting pitching is going to really come through if it can get healthy. The Yanks, they've had a great regular season, but I think they're more of a regular season team. They need to get a couple more pieces, I think, in that bullpen, especially if that after that injury to Michael King. I don't like their offense at the shortstop position, so maybe a bench bat would be nice. Somebody who can float around the infield. Lindor taps that one foul. But the main thing for the Yanks, I think, is they're going to need starting pitching. Outside of Garrett Cole, I don't think they have starting pitching to match up. You can tell me Nestor Cortez all you want, Ortiz, whatever you want to say, but I'm not buying. Sorry. Just don't buy it. Nestor Cortez, yeah. How's he doing? Last I saw, he was hitting 166. Yeah, we just mentioned that earlier as well. Julio Jones going to the Bucks. That's a scary wide receiver core. Imagine him in that Antonio Brown role. Or maybe they move Godwin into that slot role and let Julio play on the outside. Let Julio be the Randy Moss, take the cover off the top type player. As long as his hamstrings don't pop all season long. But they don't have to rely on him like they would if he was, say, on the Green Bay Packers. So maybe that's why he chose to go there instead of another team that really could use him. Chafin, maybe. The 1-2 now to Lindor. Mets trying to extend their advantage here. That one bounced into the dirt, and it's 2-2. Appreciate all 13 of you joining us. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already, please do so. It'll allow you to chat, so feel free to message us. Let us know what you think of the game, who you're pulling for. Pete Alonso waiting on deck. News out of San Francisco is they've officially moved on from Jimmy Garoppolo. They've already told the locker room that Trey Lance is now expected to be the starter this year. Another one fouled off by Lindor, and we'll do it all over again. Probably. There's a preseason really doesn't get much views as far as, national TV or anything like that, but I'm sure we'll do that game. See if we can get some of y'all to Let me know what y'all think of your team going forward. We'll try to do probably 5 or 6 preseason games before we actually get into the regular season. Once the regular season goes, we might do a live stream on Sundays. Little tapper to third. Nice play by Donaldson. Oh, and it hits Lindor. And goes into right. Marte's going to go around third and score. Wow. Lindor is easily in there at second. Ouch. A poor throw there by Donaldson. In the path of the runner, and Rizzo couldn't get over there in time to get there. 5-2 Mets. What a weird play. Donaldson did a nice job fielding the ball and keeping the runner at second, and then just made a whale of a throw over there. Just missed his target by a good 6 feet. Although Lindor, I guess he was flinching because of the way Rizzo was coming off the base. If he didn't kind of do his arm forward like this to protect himself, he probably is out, honestly. So, I don't know. We'll see. Baseball is the only sport New York's good at. They're okay at hockey. Basketball, no. Sorry, Knicks. Sorry, Nets. Not giving you that one. And then football, they probably have the 2 worst teams in the league now. Yes, I'm talking to you Giants and Jets fans. And yes, I do enjoy the New York Jets football all the way back to probably back when I first started watching them. Vinny Testaverde, Wayne Corbett, Keyshawn Johnson, that group, Curtis Martin. Oh, I wouldn't put the Jaguars anywhere near that class. Jaguars should at least be a 6-11 football team, something like that. They should have a lot of growth this year just from getting rid of Urban Meyer. And I really like the pieces they invested in. Do I agree with how much they spent on them? Absolutely not. Giants should have moved on from him last year. That was the mistake they made. But there's no good quarterbacks in the draft, so you can't really fault them. 1-1 here to Alonso. Montgomery makes Alonso chase that one, and it's 1-2. The Falcons, I think, could probably be in that group that you just listed, though. I mean, I understand Mariota might be a little bit more mobile quarterback than Matt Ryan. Whether or not you think Mariota is very good or not, I don't think matters because that team is going to be bad. I mean, Calvin Ridley is not going to be there all year because of his decision to bet on football games. Yikes. Kyle Pitts, the drafting of him at the number 4 spot a couple years ago was not a good decision. As good as Kyle Pitts is, you need more of a foundational piece than that. I just don't see the Falcons winning more than 5 games. They're going to be bad. Patterson's a good piece. Okay. Cowboys fan, Viking fan as well. I know Cordell Patterson, of course, from his time with the Patriots as well. He did not perform with the Vikings. He couldn't study a playbook. The only reason he's making a difference now on the Falcons is because it's see hole, hit hole. That's all you have to defend against Patterson. He's not going to be one of those that you're going to do or you're not going to have a patient running back there in Patterson. But he still doesn't move the needle for me. That team's going to continue to go down and down and down. I think this year they actually will try to go for a high draft pick just because the quarterback class next year is supposed to be so much better. That's what I think the Falcons should try to do is just focus on the draft. 3-2 here to Alonso. The pitch. Inside, ball 4. Montgomery really is looking like he's cooked right now. We'll see if they make a pitching change. They're on the phone again to the bullpen. Already 5 runs across for the Mets. Remember how I told you that starting pitching is worrying me for the Yanks? Earlier in the season, a 2.9 ERA through about the first half of the season. Through about 45 games anyway. Since then, anyway, they've had about a 4.4 ERA, and it's continuing to tumble here. Mound visit here. Mark Canadu up, hitting .269, 7 homers, 32 RBIs, and a .751 OPS. The Colts, the one position they've never been able to get right is quarterback. Will they be able to finally do anything with Matt Ryan back there? I think Nick Foles is there as well. The architect of that defense is gone, Eberflus. He goes to Chicago, but that defense should still be pretty good. They should still be able to win the division. Well, the Colts just haven't invested in a quarterback in the draft anyway. They haven't found anybody they liked, and they weren't high enough in the draft to go get somebody they liked. Starter's going to be Matt Ryan. That's why you make the trade with Atlanta. That offensive line should protect him much better than what the Falcons have been able to do over the past couple of years. You got possibly the best running back in football in Jonathan Taylor. I think we've seen the best football Nick Foles is going to play in his career. Matt Ryan, he might have a good year left, and this is probably it. So maybe this is the last hurrah for Matt Ryan, and then yet again they're going to search for a quarterback after the season. But we'll see. A 1-1 to Canna. The set and the pitch. That one beneath the zone, low and in. 1-1. Well, didn't they just trade for Robert Woods? I know he doesn't really move the needle for a lot of fans, but Robert Woods, to me, is a very good receiver. Very good blocker as well. Will allow Derrick Henry to have even bigger rushing lanes. Not that he needs them. But he's going to be coming back from injury, so the Titans should be better. One and two now to Canna. But I mean, they do have some talent there at the wide receiver position. It's just young. They wanted to get away from A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. Julio Jones wasn't healthy. That just didn't work out, so they went in a different route. Instead of going the old veteran route, they now went the young route. We'll see if they have some more success. And with a veteran at quarterback in Tannehill, maybe young guys is what he needs. Allow him to be the voice in the locker room instead of Brown or Jones. Let him be a little bit more of a leader. 2-2 now. The set by Montgomery. And the pitch. Tapped to the third base and foul. Donaldson tried to make a nice play, but that looked like it was going foul. Remains 2-2. We'll do it again. And the pitch. Another tapper foul. A lot of foul balls in this game so far today. Montgomery up to 70 pitches now. And he's only gotten through 2+. Yikes. Looks like it's going to be a massive bullpen game for both teams, although Taijuan Walker has really steadied himself the last couple innings. The 2-2 yet again. Swing and a miss. The off-speed pitch gets Canna out in front. That's the first out of the inning, and that might be it for him. Don't see any movement yet. Nope, looks like they're going to see if they can get out of this inning, and then they probably will turn it over to the bullpen. Escobar, last time up, had that 2-run home run back in the first. His average now up to 221 on the year. And nope, now they are going to pull him. Aaron Boone coming out of the dugout. Looks like they may have just wanted extra time for their reliever to get a few extra tosses in. Not a good start here for Montgomery. Boone says a few words to him. Montgomery kind of glares off into the distance. And we go to the bullpen. It'll be Escobar, McNeil, and Davis. Here in the bottom of the third. Hasn't been too much movement yet as far as the trade deadline. Everybody's still kind of hemming and hawing, horse trading, trying to get the best deal they can. We should start to see some moves trickle in probably as soon as tonight after the games are complete. You may even see some players pulled during the game. Give them all the goodbye hugs as they go through the go into the dugout. It's always interesting to see those. You remember Wilmer Flores back with the Mets years ago anyway, was literally had tears in his eyes on the field when the news broke that he had been traded. Ron Marinaccio, I'm going to guess that's how you pronounce the name anyway, is coming in out of the bullpen for the Yanks. 2.33 ERA. '27-year-old right-hander. In 17 games this year, has thrown 19 in the third innings, 23 strikeouts with a .88 whip. He's pitched very well. Former 19th round pick. Has not given up a run in his last 7 outings, over 8 innings. Last pitch, though, back on July 2nd, so he's been off for a little while. See if there's any rust in his rookie year. They show the replay of Montgomery saying, "Why? Why are you taking me out?" Well, you're at 70 pitches and you've got 2 1/3 inning pitched. Apparently, the Yankees and Marlins are hot after the Pirates all-star center fielder, Brian Reynolds. That makes sense. The Yankees are said to be interested in a contact bat. I don't believe any of the rumors that they're in on Andrew Benintendi. I'm sorry, I don't. He's not available to play in Toronto because of his vaccination status. And if they were to play in Toronto in a postseason series, I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. Now, Reynolds, of course, is more of a contact hitter as well. Not that I know anything about his vaccination status or not either, but it makes sense, especially with his youth on his side. Benintendi would be a rental. Reynolds would not. Escobar switches around to the left side now. Swing and a miss. 84-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch there. And Marinaccio anyway, is ahead 0-1. In his last 15 and a third innings, he has not even given up, or he's only given up only one hit, has not given up a hit in his last 10 innings. He's been very effective for the Yanks. We'll see if he's effective here against this potent Mets lineup that looks to get even more potent at the deadline. Got to imagine the Yankees are wanting at least 1 2/3 innings out of him here. See if they can get him through 4. Runners at first and second with Escobar taking time now. Lindor at second, Alonso at first. The set and the pitch to Escobar. Right on the outside corner, another off-speed pitch, and it's 0-2. Looks like they're trying to slow down the bats of the Mets hitters right now. This one popped up down the left field line. Hicks ranging over, makes the catch. Lindor bluffs a move to third. Now he will get in a pickle. Oh no, the Yankees kind of fumbled it. But he is indeed tagged out. That'll be the third out of the inning. Lindor tried to do a fake bluff over there, but the Yankees kind of fumbled the ball, which allowed Lindor to think he had a chance. But the pitcher backed it up nicely. And then Donaldson tagged out Lindor between second and third. That's the end of the third inning. A nice piece of pitching there by Marinaccio. Kind of a fluky ending. But to the fourth we go. 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Yanks. 5 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Mets. If you guys are just joining us, let us know what you think should happen at the trade deadline. If you're a Yankee fan, let us know which team or which players you'd like to see your team get. Where do you think you trade Joey Gallo to? Which starting pitcher do you go after? Which bullpen piece? Or do you not make any moves and just stick with the team you got? Of course, the Yankees are the Yankees. That will never happen. Depending on how this game goes, we may have a second game tonight. We might do that Nationals-Dodgers game. This one's an hour and a half old, though, and we're only through 3 innings, so I don't think we're going to be able to get to that one. Tomorrow we'll have, you guys can tell us in the comments which game you'd like us to do. Rays versus Orioles, Yanks versus Mets, or Reds versus Marlins. Now, it might not sound very interesting off the bat anyway, but Reds versus Marlins, that's probably going to be Luis Castillo's final start before the trade deadline. So it'll be interesting to see how he does indeed go. Looks like some more truth to the rumors that David Robertson is being eyed by the Mets. New York Post elaborating on that in a story they just posted a few minutes ago. Sounds like there's a little bit more fire to that smoke. And if I had to guess, Wilson Contreras probably fits best out of any of the other teams with the New York Mets. Sorry, Padres fans. I just think he fits a lot better in New York than he does on the Padres. That one just off the outside corner. May have touched it there, though. And Walker evens the count 1-1 here to Donaldson. Donaldson will be followed by Hicks and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. This one lined out to short. Lindor makes the catch, knee high. 1 out here. As Aaron Hicks strides to the box. Sounds like the Yankees are wanting to do something with that outfield, though. They want to get a base runner in front of Judge and Stanton and their power hitters in the lineup. Makes a lot of sense. Instead of a whole bunch of solo home runs, you have 2-run shot, 3-run shot, stuff like that. Things that can really jolt a game. Plus, you need something in that lineup other than mashers in the postseason. Main concern for me, though, is that starting rotation. They really do need to bolster it. They need a Game 2 starter, in my opinion. Let Cortez start Game 3. 2-0 now to Aaron Hicks. Walker set, and the pitch. Outside, and it's 3-0. Unable to locate with that split finger pitch. That one right at the top of the zone on the outside corner, and it's 3-1. Make it 3-2. Little tapper into the shift. Lindor kind of flips it with his glove onto first, but it looks like he is safe. First base umpire making the call there. It was pretty close. I'd have to look at it again, but I'll take the ump's judgment there. Little flip with the glove by Lindor. If he was able to get a little bit more pace on it, maybe he gets him. Oh, that was close. Maybe a tie, if anything. Nothing there to overturn it, though. Let's see from the reverse angle. Yep, that's probably a tie. Infield hit there for Hicks. Able to beat the shift. Just hit weakly enough in order to get there in time. 1 away with Hicks on first base. IKF digging in. He's 1 for 1 on the day. Hitting .274 with a .642 OPS. That one misses low and in, and it's 1-1. NFL training camp getting underway. Hard hit ball into the left center. Drops in front of Canna. Hicks makes it safely to second. Now 2 on, 1 out. Yankees getting something going. With the bottom of their lineup, Jose Trevino will be next. And then the top of the order in LeMahieu and Judge. IKF now 2 for 2. He's been on some kind of roll over the past few weeks. Just how you draw up that one. Great compact swing on that pitch. Trevino is 0 for 1, lined out in the second with a .262 average, 7 homers, 29 RPIs, and a .732 OPS. Wave and a miss at that breaking ball, low and in anyway, and it's 0-1. The pitch, broken bat, dribbler over to third. Runner is safe at second, and they're not going to get the force. Wow. Every runner is safe. Maybe IKF popped up off that bag. I'll have to look up at the replay to see if they had the tag on him at that point. But Trevino is going to reach on a failed fielder's choice. Looking at the replay, IKF did indeed beat the throw and somehow kept his toe on the bag. Not that McNeil had the tag on him, but still. Nice piece of base running there after he was picked off back in the second inning. LeMahieu back in. It's bases loaded here. 1 out in the top of the fourth. Yanks trying to claw their way back in. They're down 5-2 right now. Montgomery, the starter, only able to get through 2 1/3. Just was not very effective. Mets hitters just working that count in almost every single at bat against him. That one missed us beneath the zone, and it's 2-0. Nowhere to put LeMahieu. Aaron Judge waiting on deck. You got to think you'd rather take your chances here with LeMahieu than Judge. A lot of concern in that Mets dugout. Showalter studying his pitcher closely. Right on the outside corner, and it's 2-1. 2 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Yanks. 5 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Mets. LeMahieu in his last 31 games hitting .336, 10 homers, 27 runs scored, and a .478 on-base percentage. Little tapper. This one goes to third. Escobar goes to first anyway and is able to at least record the 1 out. A run does score. It's now 5-3. You'll definitely exchange the run for the out at that point anyway. Now you don't have to leave a pitch out over the middle for Judge. Now you can actually pitch to him. If you walk him, so be it. Judge hitting .295 on the year, 38 home runs and 82 RBIs, a .1034 OPS. A lot of power in that bat. One swing definitely changes this game. Got to be careful here if you're Taijuan Walker. You just allowed 1 run to score. You give up a home run here to Judge, and this game is a brand new ball game. Back in the first, Aaron Judge hitting that one out to right center. The pitch, 2-0 now. Both pitches away from Aaron Judge. Seems like they're working carefully to him. Even though Anthony Rizzo is on deck, he's not exactly the scariest hitter. Judge is 3 for 9 in his career off Taijuan Walker. All 3 hits have gone for home runs. He has struck out 3 times. 3-0 as that one almost hits him in his elbow guard. We've already seen one of those in the game today. Rizzo waits on deck anyway. The pitch just off the plate inside, and that's a 4-pitch walk to Aaron Judge. Anthony Rizzo is due up. Time is requested here by the Mets. They'll have a mound visit. Walker up to 71 pitches now through 3 2/3. They figure out what they want to do here with Rizzo. Should Rizzo come through, it'll be Torres and Carpenter after him. Mets do indeed have that bullpen going. Rizzo 2 for 2 on the day, had a home run to follow up Judge in that first inning. Singled in his last at bat. The longtime Cubby finding a home in New York. The pitch, well inside, and it's 1-0. As that one misses down and away. Mets in a little bit of a hot spot right now. If you're just joining us, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button. Feel free to comment. Yanks trying to come from behind again right now. 3 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Yanks. 5 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Mets. The 2-0. Now 3-0. Walker can't seem to locate any of his pitches. Misses badly with that fastball. I think he was actually trying to throw that one down the middle and just wasn't able to do the job. Nowhere to put him. Walker set. And the pitch. This one on the outside corner. Rizzo gets underneath this one, flies it to deep center field. Nimmo is there at the wall, makes the catch, and that's the end of the inning. So close to a grand slam there. If he hits a little bit more to right field or left, I think that one's gone. Just hit it to the wrong part of the park for that type of a swing. And only 1 run gets across for the Yanks in that inning. But it's now a 5-3 game. For the Mets, they'll have McNeil, J.D. Davis, and Tomas Nido due up in the bottom half of the 4th. Thank you guys for joining us again. If you're just joining us, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Try and reach 400 by the end of the week. Let's see if we can make it happen. Gained close to like 99 of y'all now over the past 3 weeks. So close to 100. Just one more and we'll get there. But thank you guys again for joining us. Oh, my bad. We're now at 102 over the last 3 days, or 3 weeks anyway. So thank you guys very much. Really appreciate it. The New York Mets have apparently made a call to the LA Angels. This news just breaking from CBS anyway, that they have called the Angels about Shohei Ohtani. Just getting an idea of what it would actually cost. Maybe if the Padres end up getting Soto, they could go out and get a guy like Shohei Ohtani. There's only a few teams that I posted in a couple of shorts that I did yesterday anyway about that teams that could be in the market for Shohei Ohtani. The Mets were one of those, the Yanks, the Dodgers, and the Padres. All make sense. The Mariners to a lesser extent, just because I don't know if he wants to play in the Pacific Northwest. But that's the news coming out right now. Mets making a lot of inquiries. Billy Epler, the GM of the Mets, being given a lot of leeway by the ownership group to make moves to get them into championship contention. The team has started to slide over the past month or so. The Braves certainly have started to come on strong, and so now it'll be a 2-horse race in the NL East. Mets hoping to hold on to the division and, of course, eventually try to compete for the World Series. Looks like we're just getting back from commercial break here in the bottom of the 4th. 5-3 our score. It will indeed be Marinaccio coming out. Marinaccio, however you want to pronounce it. Fluky inning to the last half inning for the Mets, when Lindor was caught between second and third on a fairly easy routine fly ball to the left. He tried to bluff a move to third. The throw came in a little bit errantly. However, the pitcher was there to back it up almost instantly, and Lindor had already tried to break for third. A poor decision there. McNeil fouls off this one, and it's 0-1. If you're a Mets fan, what do you see them doing at the deadline? Do they indeed get Contreras and Robertson from the Cubs? Do they go and get Ian Happ from the Cubs? Do they go after another relief pitcher? Do they get an innings eater starter to kind of make sure DeGrom and Scherzer don't overextend themselves? Carrasco's already over 100 innings now for the year. Got to make sure he doesn't overextend himself either. That pitch is off the outside corner, and it's 1-1. I believe they will end up getting at least one bat, probably Wilson Contreras, if I had to put my money on somebody. And a move that includes Robertson makes a lot of sense to kind of shore up the back end as well. He's very comfortable pitching in New York, has done it for a very long time. So coming back to New York would be kind of coming full circle for him. Started his career with the New York Yankees. Has pitched pretty much on the East Coast for the most part in his career. White Sox, Phillies as well. 1-2 now to McNeil. The set and the pitch. Outside, and it's 2-2. McNeil 0 for 1 on the day, 292 hitter with a 761 OPS. golfed here by McNeil, out to right center, drifting over his Judge, and makes the catch. One away. Judge is playing in center tonight. Got to imagine they'd like to get him out of center field and save those legs and that bat for later on in the season. You don't want to wear him down. J.D. Davis is up, grounded out back in the second, hitting .239 with a .674 OPS. This is the bat in the lineup where you could see Trey Mancini if they were to make that type of a deal. Maybe send Davis back the other way, maybe a prospect as well. That one right at the bottom of the zone, strike one. The pitch, swing and a miss by Davis. Looks like he's trying to aim his swing more than anything else. Nitto will be next. The pitch, just off the outside corner. 1-2. Beneath the zone, and it's now 2-2. Slider unable to get high enough in the zone to entice the swing. Mets trying to extend their lead. 5-3 here in the bottom of the fourth, one away. This one beneath the zone again. Did he offer at it? No, says the first base umpire. It's now 3-2. Thank you guys for joining us. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Trying to reach 400 by the end of the week. Gained about 102 of you guys since about 3 weeks ago, so we're getting pretty close to 400. Let's see if we can get there all the way. Mighty hack again by Davis, and that's a strikeout. 2 away here in the bottom of the fourth. Appreciate all 10 of you guys joining us here on a Tuesday night. I'm sure you guys had a long day at work and just want to unwind. Feel free to subscribe, join the chat, and have some fun watching some baseball. Trade deadline discussion. Feel free to let us know which team you have your eye on, which player you want to see moved. Nitto is up there, and that one pops out of the glove of Trevino. 1-0. Sure, a lot of you guys who watch us here on YouTube have played around with the ESPN NBA trade machine. Well, there's a trade machine out there as well for baseball. MLB Trade Values, I believe, is what it's called. You might want to check it out. Very interesting site. Kind of gives you an idea of how prospects are valued and what their actual return could be, how Juan Soto might be traded. I think they did a piece on that of what teams might be interested, who has the pieces for it. Very interesting site. Had one of our subscribers anyway send us a trade the other day anyway that sent Juan Soto. I'm trying to remember where they sent him. I want to say it was to like Atlanta or something. Atlanta just doesn't have the pieces for it. I mean, they'd have to trade, one of their major leaguers that has a lot of value that's under contract. But there's a lot of options out there. Almost every team, of course, will be interested in him. He is that good of a player. 3-1 now. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. 3-2. That one misses, and that's a full count again, and a walk to the number 9 hitter. To the top of the lineup we go, Brandon Nimmo in center field today. 0 for 2, hitting .265 with a .774 OPS. Yankees bullpen is indeed going. Loaisinga loosening out there. More of a long inning reliever today, I suppose. Has started in the past for the Yanks. Nimmo does have a few home runs this year. Pounds this one into the dirt, foul. Should he reach, you got to wonder if they're going to bring in Loaisinga. Marte is due up next. He's 2 for 2 on the day. Has a double and a home run. Meat of that Mets lineup coming up. The 0-1. Swung on and missed. Good off-speed pitch, enticing the swing there from Nimmo, and it's 0-2. Right at the top of the zone, fouled away by Nimmo, and we'll do it again. Foul tip there. And that's the third out of the inning. For the Yanks, it'll be Torres, Carpenter, and Donaldson in the fifth. 5-3 our score. A little bit of news out of the Houston Astros. They're exploring the catching market anyway. Looks like they want a little bit more offense coming from behind the plate. Martin Maldonado handling most of the catching duties nowadays for the Astros. I think he's hitting like 162, something like that. But he's handled that pitching staff very well. I wonder if they're one of the teams that's looking at him possibly not as a catcher, but more as a bat. Full story here anyway for Daniel Norris. He has been signed by the Detroit Tigers. You might remember back in the David Price deal from years ago with the Toronto Blue Jays, he was the main piece going back to the Detroit Tigers. He has signed a minor league deal with the club. Dallas Keuchel has signed a minor league deal with the Texas Rangers over the last day. Another top catching piece on the market is going to be Sean Murphy of the Athletics. They have a plethora of good catchers coming in their system. Shea Langeliers is the catcher that just won the Futures MVP during the All-Star weekend anyway. Is probably the future of that position for the A's. So maybe you see a team that's in need of a catcher going after Sean Murphy. Ian Happ apparently getting a lot of pub among other teams for the Cubs anyway. It looks like also Chris Martin, the reliever, Michael Givens as well. They mentioned the Padres, Mets. As teams to watch out for most in those sweepstakes. Interesting. Tampa Bay Rays, of course, could be interested in the catching market now with Mike Zunino being injured. Oh, that one looked like it might have been a fair ball, but called foul. 0-1 now to Torres. With Zunino out, maybe they're a team that goes after Sean Murphy. I don't see them playing for Wilson Contreras. That doesn't fit their MO. The 0-1. Little check swing, swing there by Torres. Fouled off towards Buck Showalter in the first base dugout. 0-2. Torres is your DH today. Stanton was put on the injured list today. He will not be available, at least for the Yankees, for about a couple weeks. That one beneath the zone, and it's 1-2. Kevin Kiermaier also out for the year for the Tampa Bay Rays. You could see them possibly adding around the periphery at the deadline. Five 3-hour score here in the top of the fifth. Torres at the plate with a 1-2 count. The pitch by Walker. Swung on and missed, able to make Torres chase for the first out of the inning. Walker up to 80 pitches now. That's the third strikeout so far for Walker. He's been able to survive by keeping those base runners from scoring anyway. He has given up 7 hits and a walk in the game, yet has only surrendered 3 runs. Matt Carpenter digging in from the left side. The pitch, off-speed misses inside, 1-0. NFL news, DK Metcalf actually reported to training camp, despite reports that he may indeed hold out. Carpenter fouls that one back, and it's 2-1. Now 2-2. Just reading up on the deal for Julio Jones. Doesn't say anything about the contract terms, but it's just a 1-year deal. They had already invested a little bit of money in Russell Gage as well. Carpenter rolls this one into the shift. That'll be the second out of the inning. Can't imagine it's going to be worth too much money, as he's missed a lot of time due to injury over the past couple of years. Maybe it'll be an incentive-laden deal. Josh Donaldson coming up, hitting .227, 9 homers, 35 RBIs, and a .703 OPS. He's 0 for 2 so far today. Every time I look down at my phone, I'm halfway curious to see if the trade is actually going to happen. Probably won't happen until after the games go final tonight or early tomorrow morning. Let the players go through their physical, notify all the players involved in the deal, all that kind of thing. But we're getting close to where we're finally going to start seeing some moves. Donaldson takes that one on the very outside edge of that corner, and it's 0-2. He turns around and has a few words to say to the home plate umpire. This is probably the final inning of work for Walker. He's up to 87 pitches now. That one misses, bounces in the dirt in the other batter's box, and it's 1-2. Walker looking like he's starting to labor a little bit. Off-speed bounced by Donaldson to Lindor, flips on to first. That's the third out of the inning. 3 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Yanks. 5 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Mets. They'll have the middle of their order due up: Marte, Lindor, and Alonso. Can you imagine what that lineup's going to look like if they do get Juan Soto? Woo! You'd be batting Juan Soto probably fifth in that lineup. Yikes. Appreciate you guys joining us. If you're just joining us for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Feel free to comment. Let us know what you think of the game, of the trade deadline, what pieces you think are going to move, that kind of thing. NFL training camp getting underway, NBA offseason still going on. Posted a video about the DeAndre Ayton thing. That happened a couple of days ago, but hadn't been able to get the video out. But we do try to cover every single team from all four major sports here in the U.S. NFL, NBA, MLB, and the NHL. As this game crosses the 2-hour mark here in a moment. Big trade in hockey the other day. Matthew Tkachuk going to the Panthers in a rare star-for-star type of trade anyway. For Huberdeau, Mackenzie Weegar, a prospect in Cole Schwindt, and a 2025 first. Things are starting to slow down anyway in both off seasons for the NBA and the NHL as they try to enjoy their time off. The only news that come out over the last day or so from the NBA is the Boston Celtics have at least made a few offers to the Brooklyn Nets within the last couple of days for Kevin Durant. Those offers were headlined by Jaylen Brown anyway. Those reports were confirmed by Jaylen Brown. Seems like he's not too happy with the Boston Celtics after just going to the NBA Finals and then finding yourself on the trade block. A little bit surprising, too, because Kevin Durant, he's 33 years old, has 4 years left on his deal, and I would argue that with Boston having just swept him, maybe, just maybe, in a year or two of this deal, Jaylen Brown will be the better player. Loizinga is indeed coming out of the bullpen for the Yanks, 1-2 on the year, a 752 earned run average over 20 and a third innings, 11 walks and 20 strikeouts, has given up 3 home runs so far this year. Marte digging in a 301 average, solo home run back in the first to double in his last at bat, scored both times, 10 RBIs and 42 runs batted in. The first pitch, a little nubber down the third base line, foul. And it's 0-1. The set by Loizinga. And the pitch. Another tapper foul back to the screen, and it's 0-2. If you're watching the All-Star game, you saw Ken Rosenthal was holding a Stand Up for Cancer placard anyway with Buck Martinez on there. Looks like he is back at least in Toronto, speaking with players and staff as he continues to battle cancer. Good luck to you and all those out there who are. Out and misses off the outside corner, now 2-2. Long look in here for Loizinga. The set and the pitch. Right on the outside corner. That's the first time they've retired Marte in the game. Strikeout right at the top of the zone. Great pitch. Located it very well. Just froze Marte all the way. It'll be Lindor next. 1 for 2 on the day. Hitting .249 with a .752 OPS. Weisinger working very slow. One thing about the Yankees games, they always seem to take a little bit longer than most other teams. Whether it's just the broadcast that they're part of, whether it's just the pace of play they take, whether it's just the fact their approach at the plate a little bit more deliberate, all having a factor on the game. Lindor 1 for 2, has a double, reached on there, scored a run. 16 home runs here with 66 RBIs. Right on the inside corner, it's 0-2. Weisinger trying to work through the meat of this Mets order. Alonso on deck, who's hit a double as well today. Time requested here. This one up and into Lindor, bends back out of the way, and it's 1-2. Has a word for the home plate umpire. Subway Series here. They will play again tomorrow night. Let us know in the chat which game you'd like us to do tomorrow. Got 3 options anyway. Reds and Marlins. That's going to be the last start probably for Luis Castillo. You have the Rays and Orioles game or the Yankees and Mets. Let us know which game you'd prefer us to do. Very tempted by that Luis Castillo game just because I want to see how he performs with all the pressure going into the trade deadline. Yankees, I fully expect to be most heavy after him. Of course, everybody needs starting pitching, literally everybody. Lindor taps it over to second into the shift, flipped on to first, and LeMahieu makes the play. 2 away. Alonso digging in. He's 1 for 1 with a double, a walk, scored a run, and drove in a run. The first pitch to Alonso, just beneath the zone, and it's 1-0. Fouled back and 1-1. Trade deadline coming up on August 2nd. We'll have a live stream anyway on that 2nd. We'll probably start around 10 o'clock in the morning. Probably go through about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Go through every trade as they go down. Usually see between about 10 and 20 trades on trade deadline day. Most of the big blockbusters usually happen a couple of days before that. So maybe on Sunday we'll get some big trades anyway. We'll have a triple header that day of games that we'll be doing. Tigers and Blue Jays, either the Dodgers and Rockies or Rangers and Angels for the middle game. And then Sunday Night Baseball will be the Cubs and Giants. Appreciate the like. Thank you very much. Really appreciate the support. If you're just subscribing to us, and another one, thank you. If you're just subscribing to us, really appreciate you. Trying to reach 400 by the end of the week. Alonso lines this one into center in front of Aaron Judge, and he's aboard with 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th. Another like. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Really helps us. Okay. I was wondering where y'all were at this game. Thank you for the likes. Okay. We've gained like 6 of them in the last 3 seconds. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Mark Canha due up next, though. 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. He came over from the Oakland A's this offseason. Signed I want to say a 4-year deal with the Mets. Takes the first pitch, grounds it to Donaldson, flips on to second, and Alonso is retired there. Loizaga gets around a 2-out single by Alonso. To the 6th we go. It'll be Hicks, IKF, and Trevino for the Yanks. And another like. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. If you guys are just joining us, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the like. Really helps us out a lot. Gained about 102 of you guys that have subscribed over the past 3 weeks. Trying to reach 400 by the end of the week. Let's see if we can get there. In case you have been living under a rock for the past couple of weeks, a couple of big news items out of Major League Baseball, of course, is Juan Soto declining that $440 million contract extension over 15 years with an average annual value of $29 million. A little bit laughable when you consider how young of a player Juan Soto is and how good he is in the history of the game. I think he's behind only Trout and I want to say Babe Ruth anyway, as far as start to a career. And he's only 23 by the time he reaches free agency at his age, after his age 25 season. You can imagine where his career is going. Having a little bit of a down year, but we just saw him in the home run derby. His numbers are looking better and better. But he is definitely going to be an aircraft carrier type of player going forward. But the trade for Juan Soto is said to be quite astronomical. They want major league pieces, high-end prospects, and a grab bag of lower-end prospects as well. Patrick Corbin is supposed to go the other way in that deal as well. So it's another $30 million in salary this year, next year, and the year after that if a team is willing to take on the risk of trading for Juan Soto. He's not having a great year for the Nationals either, is Patrick Corbin. So you got to wonder if that's a great move for them, making the move to acquire Juan Soto and taking on that contract as well, as they show Darryl Strawberry throwing out the first pitch before the game. A lot of history there in New York for Strawberry. Both in New York with the Mets and the Yankees. Appreciate you guys joining us here on a Tuesday night. First pitch here by to Hicks anyway, popped out to left, and Canha makes the play. 1 out. Strawberry was an 8-time All-Star, a 4-time World Series champion, National League Rookie of the Year with the Mets in 1983. Hit .257 with 26 homers that year. Finished his career with 335 home runs. Walker is indeed out here for the 6th, a little bit surprising as his pitch count is over 90 now. Seth Lugo is loosening out there, IKF takes a strike there on the inner half of the plate. Couple of singles tonight for IKF, raised the average to 277. No home runs yet on the year. That one on the outer half of the, well, I say the outer half, the very outside corner, the very edge of the plate. It's now 0-2. That one misses low and away. Thank you guys for joining us here. Another pitch outside, and it's 2-2. But as I mentioned, we cover the NFL with training camp getting underway. We'll do a lot of live streams of that. Bounced foul again by IKF, and it remains 2-2. Another angle to the Juan Soto trade is, of course, they're currently trying to trade Josh Bell first. Try to maximize the return they get for him before they turn around and trade Soto. Don't want to take a suitor out of the mix for Soto. So they got to work that very carefully. Mets, Brewers, and Astros are said to be interested. If I had to pick a winner in that sweepstakes, I'd pick probably the Brewers. Sliding catch there by Canna down the third base line as IKF pops out. 2 away now. Appreciate you guys for joining us. Thanks for all the likes. Beautiful sliding catch there. Ball boy getting out of the way in time. Jose Trevino up next. He's 0 for 2 on the day. Had a line out and had a fielder's choices last time up, in which everybody reached, but the Mets were able to work around it. That one finds the zone, and it's 0-2 now. Walker trying to get through 6 here. Up to 98 pitches now. The pitch just off the outside corner, but fouled into the seats by Trevino, and it remains 0-2. Aroldis Chapman loosening out there for the Yankees. Looks like he's going to work the bottom half of the 6th here. He's been very erratic this year. He's certainly not the same Aroldis Chapman of years past. 1-2 now to Trevino. It's probably the biggest thing about the Yankees right now is that bullpen, after losing King, they've got a lot of question marks as they get up to Clay Holmes, their closer. He was acquired at the deadline last year. Trevino pokes this one into center. Nimmo makes the play, and the side is retired. To the bottom of the 6th we go. It'll be Escobar, McNeil, and J.D. Davis for the Mets. Another name on the trade block anyway that if you've been living under a rock, we reposted this a couple of days ago, is Shohei Ohtani is now on the block. Thursday last week is when news first started to trickle out that maybe, just maybe, with the LA Angels being one of the worst teams in baseball over the last couple of months, that it was time for them to move on. Before the season even started, it was rumored that Shohei Ohtani was going to want out if they weren't going to be in playoff contention. Well, they're not in playoff contention as much as the LA Angels front office believes that they still are. They are not. But the price has officially been set for Shohei as a couple of established major league players and prospects in return as well. There's only going to be a few teams that are going to be of interest to Shohei Ohtani in free agency, I'd imagine. As a foreign-born player, you'd imagine teams like the Mets and Dodgers on the East Coast are a couple of the only teams that might make sense. Maybe the Phillies out there, but I doubt it. But as far as the West Coast teams, they make a lot more sense. The Dodgers, most of all. Padres have some interest, of course. And then the Seattle Mariners always have interest in foreign-born players, being so close to Japan, that kind of thing. That might be nice for Shohei. But I think he wants to compete for championships, which is why I think he's probably going to end up as far as one of those major 4 teams, Padres, Yanks, Mets, or Dodgers. As far as Shohei Ohtani, one of the top starting pitchers on the market, if you ignore all of the hitting. Luis Castillo and him are probably 1-2 for the best starter on the market. Frankie Montas being 3rd, maybe Martin Perez 4, if he is actually on the market. As far as a hitter, he's the best hitter on the market after Juan Soto. Not close. The contract, though, that you might sign Shohei Ohtani to after his free agency hits will be a lot less than Juan Soto. Juan Soto is going to get $500+ million. Shohei Ohtani, when he hits free agency, is going to be after his age 30 season. So you're looking probably in the neighborhood of maybe $150, $200 million contract for a player of his ilk. Maybe that'll be something to consider before making the trade for Shohei Ohtani. Other teams that are playoff hopefuls, Houston Astros, of course, are going to be in the postseason. I don't see them going anywhere near Shohei Ohtani. The Atlanta Braves are looking for starting pitching help and help with their lineup with the injury to Adam Duvall. I don't see that happening. Aroldis Chapman is indeed coming out of the bullpen here. But Shohei is officially on the market. Mets, as we reported just a few minutes ago, GM Billy Epler actually reached out to the Angels today regarding Shohei Ohtani just to see what the asking price was going to be. Can you imagine a rotation anyway, led by DeGrom, Scherzer, and Ohtani for games 1, 2, and 3 in the postseason? Yikes. And then you still have Carrasco there, Taijuan Walker for the Mets. You're going to have a lot of innings there if you go for a guy like him. Swing and a miss by Escobar. And that might actually be the better move for the Mets, is to go after Shohei Ohtani, especially with the question marks you have in the rotation with DeGrom going forward. Has not pitched since July of last year. When he is on the mound, he's one of the best pitchers in the game, but he's coming back from injury. So how exactly is he going to perform? Escobar pops this one well back into the seats, and it's 0-2. DeGrom, I think in the minors, struck out like 6 of 7 batters he faced in his first rehab start. Is going to have his final rehab start tomorrow. Probably be called up to the big leagues about a week from now. So right around the trade deadline is when he could probably expect him to come up. If the Mets have made some acquisitions, maybe they've cleared off some space on the active roster for him already. That way they don't have to send players up and down. They can just make the trades they want and then promote him. The one issue that I have, though, with the New York Yankees, of course, is that bullpen and that starting staff. They're really going to have to figure something out as they get closer to the postseason. I expect them to go out there and get someone. Now, for the left side, the best lefty reliever is probably Matt Moore from the Rangers, maybe as that 7th, 8th inning guy, as Escobar flies out to Judge, 1 away here in the bottom of the 6th. Yanks, after tomorrow's game against the Mets, will play the Royals. Jeff McNeil digging in. 7th spot in the lineup. 0 for 2 on the day. Couple of flyouts, hitting .291. Does have 4 home runs and 35 RBIs with a .759 OPS. Thank you guys for joining us. If you're just joining us right now, hit that subscribe button. Join the chat. First pitch by Chapman, well up and inside. Has a lot of moving parts in that delivery. Could have something to do with how erratic he's been this year. That's why he's not pitching the 9th inning anymore for the Yanks. Those days are behind him. But he's still Aroldis Chapman. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. 96 just off the outside corner. And it's 1-1. J.D. Davis is going to be next. As we mentioned before, with the trade deadline coming up, Trey Mancini is the heavily rumored bat going to the Mets at the deadline from the Baltimore Orioles. Seems like Trey Mancini believes he is going to be traded as well. Believes he's playing his final game in Baltimore today. Kind of said his goodbyes to his teammates there. New York would be a great spot for him at that DH spot. The right-handed complement with Vogelbach being the left-hander. McNeil lifts this one out into left center. Judge is over there in plenty of time, though. 2 away. Looks like Judge is really enjoying playing center field today. If you're a Yankee fan, you've got to wonder about that shortstop position going forward. If they do make the trade for Luis Castillo, or if they get into the hunt for Juan Soto or Shohei Ohtani, you'd think they'd have to move a piece like Volpe or Peraza, or maybe even both if they go for Soto anyway. J.D. Davis is up. Fouls this one straight back to the screen, and it's 0-1. But But if they did that, then you're probably looking at the shortstop market in the offseason. In a season where in an offseason where you're going to have Aaron Judge as a free agent. You still have to extend Juan Soto if you make that deal. You're going to have to build that bullpen back a little bit this offseason as well if you don't do it by trade during or just before the trade deadline here this year. Aroldis set, and the pitch. Nice off-speed pitch, paints the inside corner, and it's 0-2. 88-mile-an-hour split finger right on the inside edge. J.D. Davis looks with really big round eyes after that call. Surprised by that pitch, it looks like. The 0-2. Strike 300 miles an hour, right at the top of the zone, just blew it past him, slowed his bat down with the last pitch, and then charged it right back up again. Yanks will have the top of the lineup due up in the 7th. It'll be LeMahieu, Judge, and Rizzo. Judge had that home run back in the first inning. Rizzo as well. Both of them had solo shots, right center and left center respectively. Other names to keep an eye on this trade deadline season, as we mentioned, Luis Castillo of the Reds. Let us know in the chat which game you'd like us to watch tomorrow. Castillo does start for the Reds tomorrow. That's kind of the one I'm thinking I might do, as we're already doing the Yanks and Mets tonight. Apparently, the Detroit Tigers are officially open for business as well. Everybody, including their starting pitcher, Tarek Skubal, is on the market. Apparently, there's a lot of scouts in attendance for the Tigers game tonight. Michael Fulmer, a bullpen option, the former starter, is on the block as well. Acquisition cost shouldn't be too high because the Tigers just haven't been very good. Cards and Blue Jays. Is that the game you're wanting for tomorrow? Possibly. Right now, the score in that one's 8-3, Toronto on top. Toronto's really kind of turned it around. Mets are going to bring Adam Ottavino in here to face the top of the order. I don't know. We might bounce around between a couple of them, but I want to see how Luis Castillo does. See if he's really worth the price of admission for the trade, or for a trade that's going to take to get him. August 2nd, Tuesday, next week. 7 days away. It'll be fantastic. We'll do a triple header on Sunday, keep up with all the moves that are happening. Sunday before the trade deadline always seems to be active anyway among teams. So make sure you join us early. We'll start at about 11 o'clock on Sunday. Appreciate you guys joining us. If you're just joining us, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, comment. Let us know which game you'd like us to do tomorrow. Reds and Marlins, Rays and Orioles, Yanks and Mets. Got to vote for the Cardinals and Blue Jays as well. Thank you, Zach. Really appreciate it. Ottavino's first pitch is in there for a strike. The second one waved at and missed by LeMahieu. The pitch by Ottavino, well outside, and 1-2. Ottavino on the year, 38 games, 4-2 record, a 2.45 ERA, and 36 2/3 innings. 44 strikeouts to 10 walks, has given up 4 home runs. The pitch. High chopper over the pitcher's mound. McNeil flips it on to first on a barehanded play. Makes a nice play there. Loses his hat on the play. Padres easy win tomorrow. Who are they playing tomorrow? Detroit, I'm guessing. Let's see. Yeah, they play at 1 o'clock. I'll be at work at that time. Otherwise, I would do that one. Always been a Yu Darvish fan. Skoball. Ooh, that would be pretty good, though. You get to see how they perform. Skoball might be an interesting pitcher, at least for the pretty much everybody, because he's young enough that he could pretty much play everywhere. Aaron Judge takes ball 1. And now ball 2 as Ottavino misses badly. Judge 1 for 2 on the day with that solo home run back in the first. Has also reached on a walk today. But that'll be an interesting one for the trade deadline. Tarek Skoball's possible last start with the Tigers. Right down the middle, and it's 2-1. Beautiful play there by McNeil a moment ago. Lined over the head of third base anyway, and Judge is going to be on with a single here. George Springer hit a grand slam. Alejandro Kirk just hit a home run anyway in that game as well. 9-3 now. Anthony Rizzo up 2 for 3 on the day. It raised that average up to 225, 23 homers on the year. Ottavino keeping Judge close with a soft toss over there to Alonso. Yeah. They've been playing a lot better. Not saying Montoya was the problem, but ever since firing him, it certainly jolted that lineup at least back into fruition. Now, the pitching is still where I'm worried about. Barrios has been a great strikeout pitcher for him, but hasn't been able to avoid the long ball. And against teams in the postseason like the Yankees, you're going to run into that problem. So I don't know which direction they go at the deadline as far as which starter they go after. Maybe Frankie Montas of the A's might be their type of pitcher for them. That one just off the outside corner. 1-1 now to Rizzo. Another toss over there to first, and Judge is back with a dive. Again, if you're just joining us, the Mets have checked in on Shohei Ohtani today, as well as Brian Reynolds, Juan Soto, Wilson Contreras, Ian Happ, Trey Mancini. Mets seem to have their name in on every single trade candidate out there right now. Earlier this season, they were interested in Frankie Montas as well. Mets are going to do something at the deadline, that's for sure. Yeah, Marquez is usually a little bit more hit and miss, though. Some days he'll have his stuff, some days he won't. A little flare foul ball. Escobar unable to make the play. Count is still 1-2 now on Rizzo. I've watched some of Marquez's starts anyway. Some starts he'll be unhittable literally for 8 innings. And then the next start he can't get out of the first. He's very inconsistent. That's the way all Rockies pitchers have always ever been. You have to adjust to the way you're unable to throw your breaking ball in Colorado, and then you go to other climates, and then you're used to throwing only your fastball and your pitches that have zero movement, and then you go to other climates where you have to throw breaking balls, and you can't. You're not used to it. Who gets benched as a starter? I don't think they really bench anybody. I think they just go with a longer rotation and allow Lance Lynn to, recover a little bit more, maybe have that extra day rest, maybe go with a little bit longer rotation until they play themselves out of it. Maybe one of their starters continues to play or perform badly, and then they take him out, convert him to a long reliever. It's usually what teams do around the deadline. Let the new player come in and get comfortable. The 2-2 here to Rizzo. That one looks like it might have hit him in the foot. Judge was stealing second, though. Did Rizzo go around, though, on the pitch? That is the question. We saw a strikeout this way in the Sunday game. Looking at the replay, it looks like he did hold his bat back. I don't know if this is reviewable, though. That's the question. Because the ball definitely bounces and then hits him. Well, nope, it hits his front foot, bounces, and then hits his back foot. Third base umpire says he did swing at it. They're reviewing it at least. We'll see if they can actually change anything, though. The White Sox game going to go to extras. It's the top of the fourth. It's a little early. And Jimenez just got a base hit. All is not lost, White Sox fans. And after review, they are going to say did not swing. So I guess it is a reviewable play. A little bit surprising. It's a correct call either way, but a little bit surprising that they even reviewed it to begin with. 3 runs, 8 hits, 1 error here for the Yanks. 5 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Mets here in the top of the 7th. Gleyber Torres, 0 for 2 on the day, was hit by a pitch in the third, hitting .265, 15 home runs, 43 RBIs, and an .802 OPS. With Stanton now on the IL anyway. Torres getting the half day off anyway as the designated hitter. Peralta is loosening out there in the bullpen for the Yanks for the bottom half of the inning. Ottavino steps off. 1-0. Thank you guys for joining us. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already, please do so. Gained about 102 over the last 3 weeks. Let's see if we can get to 400 by the end of the week. Pitch right down the middle is a strike. However, the steal here by Rizzo and Judge. Judge is safe at third. Rizzo is thrown out at second, they say. It was close. Rizzo thinks he was safe. We'll see if they review it yet again. A double steal there. Yep, they're saying review it. It was a high throw. Did he get in there before the tag? It looks like he's in there. But did he come off the base in between there before the tag was lifted off of there? They got horrible camera angles, though, on this game. Yeah, he's in there first. It doesn't look like he comes off the bag, though, at one time. Welcome back, Bruce. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I've never been much of a Yankee fan either, but a lot of former Rangers on the team, so I guess I can't hate them anymore. IKF, Trevino, Gallo. Well, every now and again, every dog has their day, as they say. Arizona needs to have some motivation for playing. Thanks, Bruce. Looking at the replay from this angle, this one's actually a good one. Did he pop up off of it? If that back foot is on the base while that tag is still being applied, you're good. That is the question. And they're saying he is indeed out. A little bit surprising there. Thought Rizzo actually was in there. I was saying in the other live that I did yesterday, or not yesterday, but when was that? Sunday. They're debate trophies from when I was in debate many years ago. Won a lot of tournaments anyway. Went to regionals for UIL competition. Went to nationals for NFL competition, and no, not National Football League, National Forensic League. This one popped up. This will probably be the end of the inning. Alonso makes the catch, and Torres is retired. Bowling's pretty cool. I never won a trophy at bowling. I played in a league for a couple years for a girl, of course, many years ago. But I was a pretty good bowler back in the day for my league anyway. I was only like I think I was average like a 160, 170, something like that. Of course, I haven't bowled in years. Wow, that's impressive. Nice job, Bruce. Never been that lucky. The only person I've ever met that actually bowled a perfect game when I was, I don't know, like 8 or 9, I had a neighbor that lived 2 doors down. He would bowl in a league, and he actually had his name up on the wall at the bowling alley with top scores forever. He had like a 297, a 290 something, and then 2 300s as well. He had already retired many years before that anyway, but he was the one that was able to get us to Mavericks games back in the day. He had season tickets to the Dallas Mavericks when I was a kid. So every now and again, when he didn't want to go, or whenever his work would give, or whenever he couldn't find somebody to give him away to, he'd say, "Hey, you want to go?" And I'd be like, "Hey, yeah, sure, no problem." I think we ended up going to 3 games one year. That was pretty cool. Back when Dirk was still pretty young. I think it was 2001, 2000, somewhere in there. I remember seeing the Phoenix Suns were the other team. Oh, yeah. Dirk's probably my favorite player ever. Jordan and Luka, probably my second and third. I really enjoyed watching Steve Nash, Kevin Garnett. Again, remember from South Dakota, so I'm used to a lot of Timberwolves basketball. KG's probably in the top 20 NBA players of all time for me. He gets no pub like that from all the pundits out there, but for me, he's up there. Dirk, for me, is in my top 10 players ever to play the game. And everybody gets all up in arms whenever they say, top 10, how could you? Who are you taking out? Doesn't matter. It's my top 10. But just for those of you who are wondering, well, who do you got for Jordan versus LeBron? It's not a question, it's Jordan. Yeah. And he sacrificed, I don't know how many millions of dollars year after year after year just to keep a title contender. LeBron is better than LeBron? Sorry, Jordan is better than LeBron. I do like LeBron a lot. I think all around, LeBron is probably a better player. Rebounding is probably a better passer, probably a better teammate. But if we're just playing basketball, I'd rather have Jordan on my team than LeBron. I wouldn't go that far. I'd say LeBron is easily number 2 at this point. Kobe to me is still in the top 10, but he gets way too much publicity, or at least he did back then. Everybody was always like, Kobe versus MJ, who's better? That wasn't even close. Don't make me laugh. Nitto reaches. Wandy Peralta on for the Yankees anyway. Thank you guys for joining us, all 11 of you. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already, please do so. Appreciate it. Magic, I don't know if about top 3, certainly top 10, maybe top 5. His versatility probably puts him in that top 5 for me. I'm guessing you're a Eichel fan, Jacob? You a Golden Knights fan? This one fouled away by Nimmo, and it's 0-1. All right, I got to ask, since you're a Golden Knights fan. I read an article anyway that after the Max Pacioretty deal, that agents are now telling their players to be wary of signing deals with the Golden Knights and to be wary that you might be traded if you request a trade to the Golden Knights, that they're going to try to get rid of you because they can't handle their cap situation from year to year without literally giving you away to another team. This one popped into the air, and that's one away here in the bottom of the 7th. My question anyway to you is, are you worried about that for your fans going forward? Are you going to be able to continue this level of success? Because as long as you're winning, I think you're fine. But your first bad year, what does that do? It is a privilege to play for Vegas for now because they've been winning. What happens when you have a losing year? Marte grounds this one over to third base. Nice double play is turned there by Donaldson. Yanks get out of it rather quickly there. To the top of the 8th we go. No one wants to play in Arizona, California, Texas, or Florida. I don't know about that. Florida and California have never had a problem getting free agents in any league. Arizona, it's Arizona. They're terrible. Texas, they actually convinced Joe Pavelski, so I can't really say that nobody wants to play there. Pavelski was with the top sign anyway a couple years ago for the Stars, and then they convinced him to take a discount this year. He took a 1-year, $5 million deal when he led the team in points. Talk about a bargain for the Stars. They have 2 of the worst contracts in the entire league with Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn, yet they're still able to get Joe Pavelski for only $5 million. That was fantastic. Yes, I'm a Stars fan, I know. Is it showing? Well, it's not that hockey is popular there. It's about what contract they can get. Florida Panthers are giving away contracts left and right. Just look at the trade they made for Kachuk. That'll excite their fan base and actually get some people to go there for a year. But is it going to be something that sustains them, keeping attendance up? The way they were able to win this year is what made them so popular in Florida there this year. What happens when they start losing? I don't expect them to be long-term successes there. I do think the Stars will make the playoffs. I think Ottinger really stepped up. He went from being a third goalie because they already have two set options at the 1 and 2 spot to Holtby was injured, Khudobin didn't perform, and Ben Bishop wasn't able to return. So he took over. And then did you see how he performed against Calgary? The best goalie in the playoffs last year. It wasn't close. Sorry, Markstrom. As good as you were, Ottinger was better. And the Dallas Stars just couldn't score a goal to save their life. I still don't think they've addressed that, but their defense should still be very good, even without Klingberg. They tried to address it a little bit with Marchment, but I don't know. Robertson's fantastic. Hey, somebody who knows the Stars. All right, Bruce. I was starting to wonder if anybody was going to catch some of these names that I was saying. Ottinger, Jason Robertson. Here we are in a Yankees-Mets game, and we're talking Dallas Stars hockey. I do think he'll be great. Just the story of Marchment as well is fantastic. My worry is he ever going to perform as good as he did this year for the Panthers? I don't think he will, but I don't think the Stars need him to do that. But they need him to show at least some consistency somewhere like this. Ottavino gets Carpenter to pop this one into center, and Nimmo makes the catch, one away. 5-3 here in the top of the 8th. But I do like the signing of Marchment, brings some toughness. The one thing the Stars need to do more than anything else is keep Tyler Seguin healthy. Jamie Benn, even though he's on a horrible contract, still gives you incredible leadership, clutch goal scoring. $20 goals at least for Marchment. I don't know about 20 goals, but maybe 15. Something like that. He's certainly not going to be a 30-goal scorer. If he becomes a 30-goal scorer, I'll tip my hat and say that's the best signing Jim Nill's ever had. Josh Donaldson waves and misses at that one. He's 0 for 3 on the day. You're saying 20. You think last year wasn't a fluke? I think he had, 17 goals last year, something like that? A career high? And then according to all of his, peripheral numbers, I was reading an article where they showed all of his, shot percentage, the likelihood of good goals and all like that. We're all at, in the 99th percentile in all of those categories. Now, if he's able to duplicate that every single year, that's another thing. But they're saying a lot of luck was part of that success he had this year, especially when he was fluctuating in minutes between the 4th line, 2nd line, 1st line. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I checked some of his Corsi stats as well. His Corsi was pretty good. But a lot of those luck stats, Dallas is definitely going to love him. They haven't really, or this to me is like the Roussel signing for Vancouver. Roussel was a fan favorite in Dallas for years. I think he's going to be more of an Antoine Roussel than, a Patrick Kane type, if that makes sense. Albert Abreu getting loose for the Yankees in the bullpen for the bottom of the 8th. Adam Ottavino, 3-2 now on Josh Donaldson. Aaron Hicks next. The set and the pitch. Tap to third base. Escobar flips on to first, and he is retired 2 away. I am curious to see where Patrick Kane ends up going, though. I fully expect him to get traded at some point before or during the season. I don't think he finishes the year with Chicago. I would say Seth Jones would also be traded, but they're going to have to eat some of that contract. And then Jonathan Taves, they're absolutely going to have to eat as much of that contract as they possibly can to move on from him. Edwin Diaz starting to loosen for some reason out there for the Mets. You think Ben will be moved down to the third line, Sagan on the second with Mason? Maybe. Your top line was Hintz, Robertson, and Pavelski last year. I don't think they split up Sagan and Ben. I think they still keep them two on a line, but I think they need another guy like Martin Raffel on the outside, some speedy winger. So maybe Studenich is your guy there, and then Guryanov, Marchment, and maybe Foxa will be your third line, something like that. New coaching staff, so you never really know what they're going to end up doing, though. Swing and a miss by Hicks there. Now 2-1. I just think Ben's, the more ice time you give Jamie Benn, the better you play. I think if you start taking away his minutes, that contract really starts to look bad. Not that you should play somebody just because of their contract, but I think the more minutes Jamie Benn is going to play, the more effective he is in the game, the more physical presence he has. The quiet games Jamie Benn has are when he isn't involved in the physical action, when he's not involved in on the ice anyway, when they hold back his minutes. Those are the games that really cost him. Well, that's a lot of money to buy out. I think it's still a little too early to even discuss buying out his contract. Maybe in a couple years that might make sense. Maybe even next year. White Sox just took the lead. Cool. A.J. Pollock, fielder's choice. I told you. Told you it was still early, buddy. Aaron Hicks due up next, but it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter. Yeah, I don't think they'll move him anyway. Even if they could, there's nobody who'd want him. The Blackhawks, they were good up until probably a couple of years ago. Buck Showalter coming out, and they're going to have a pitching change. Joey Gallo is coming on. I will be doing a game tomorrow. Looks like that might be the reason why they had Diaz loosening. It'll be Joey Gallo pinch hitting here for IKF. Interesting, they're bringing him on here. Gallo, for those wondering, is hitting 162 on the year. Yikes. But you're asking about the Blackhawks. They are going to be absolutely terrible for the next 3 years. Terrible. Like, unwatchable. The management staff, that they have a plan. They're upsetting fan bases anyway their fan base by trading away DeBrincat as well. They're terrible. They're going to be bad. They're going to trade away their franchise icons this year. It's going to get ugly in Chicago. Am I doing a game tomorrow? Tomorrow, the 3 games I was thinking about doing were the Reds and Marlins because that's the Luis Castillo start, Rays and Orioles, Yanks and Mets. Taves is still there, Kane is still there, but both are very likely to request a trade, if not have already privately mentioned it to him. The agent for them they have the same agent for Seth Jones, Patrick Kane, and Jonathan Taves. The agent came out after the trade with DeBrincat and the draft, saying basically they were not happy with the direction of this team. They'd see how the offseason went. They signed Athanasiou and Max Domi, not really moving the needle at all for Blackhawks fans. They took on the contract of was it Peter Mrazek from the Maple Leafs to get draft picks. It's going to be a very bad team. They are going to be probably in contention for the number 1 pick next year. They're going to trade Kane to somebody. but that salary is the biggest part. $10.5 million, I think, is his cap number. Well, yeah, you got to have somebody who can fill the stat sheet at least a little bit. So they need somebody just to play or just take up space on the ice, honestly, so that they are terrible. And if he's a locker room killer, so be it. Jonathan Toews has been absolutely terrible over the last couple of years, mainly due to injury, not necessarily anything on the ice. But he's lost a step, certainly skating. But he's got a $10.5 million number. Even if Chicago eats half of that move, half of the contract, they're going to probably have to find another team to eat even more of that deal for Jonathan Toews' deal to make any sense for another team to acquire. And Seth Jones was on a list of 10 worst contracts in all of hockey, but that's just because, again, it's Chicago. We'll see if he goes somewhere else. He's still young enough to where maybe they could move that deal. Corey Clement just goes to the Ravens. I have to worry if they have an injury, honestly, because of the injury issues that they've had at the running back position last year. Kane could end up with the Rangers or Islanders. Didn't Panarin go to the Rangers? Maybe that would be a good fit there. Edwin Diaz is on to face Joey Gallo. Takes a 100-mile-an-hour strike on the inside corner. This is a tough at-bat here for Joey Gallo. Been sitting on the bench, ice cold, coming in to face one of the best, if not the best closer in all of the sport. Right now, anyway. Off speed, swing and a miss by Gallo. See if he can avoid chasing here. Mets fans coming to their feet here in the top of the 8th. 1 on, 2 outs. One swing here, though, would tie it, which I guess is the hope for the Yanks. That one misses low and away. 1-2. Diaz was hoping he'd get the Gallo chase there, but does not. Most fans actually liked him as a star. I did not. Another one off the outside corner, 2-2. Huge hockey fan. The hockey is actually my favorite sport. Swing and a miss. Joey Gallo goes down here to Edwin Diaz. Chases that pitch just beneath the zone. That one was pretty close, though. But that ends the threat for the Yanks. 3 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Yankees. 5 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Mets. That was a tough spot to put Joey Gallo in. I mean, sure, you'd like him to at least make contact, but not many people do. I mean, Diaz's strikeout rate this year is above 50%. That's best in the league. Gallo's strikeout rate is at like 40%, 30%, something like that. Really high number as well. So you knew either it was going to be an all or nothing at bat, either ends up in the stands or it's going to end up in a punch out. More likely than not, it was going to end in the punch out, and that's exactly what happened. But yes, I'm a huge hockey fan. I'd like to do more content on hockey, but haven't had a lot of subscribers from it, except from like the Toronto Maple Leafs. Those Maple Leaf fans go crazy for anything Maple Leafs related. I posted a video on Jack Campbell. I got so many videos on it. I posted 3 more and got so many more views on it. It was crazy. Then I posted something on, what did I post a video on? I forget. I posted it around the deadline anyway. I posted a trade deadline video for hockey and got basically no views on it. I did a Mark Giordano video and I got a whole bunch of videos or likes in that one. So he's back with the Maple Leafs this year. Signed a 2-year contract extension, basically for the minimum to go back to the Toronto as well. Great deal for them. Yeah, I don't love the fighting either, but I understand it. It's a whole lot better than what it used to be, though. If you guys are wondering, why we're talking about so much hockey, well, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and you can join the chat. Figure out why. But I agree with you, Bruce. It is definitely the most exciting sport. If you ever get to go see a live hockey game, better than any other sport you'll ever attend live. Not even a question. I'm not sure if I'd call them good. I'd call them needed for the Bears because they're going to need some offensive linemen to protect Justin Fields. I wonder about the receiving core this year, though. I make this much off of my streams. This much. Thank you for the like, by the way. I mean, it's better than what they had, but I'm worried about the decision to hire Eberflus as their coach. I thought they should have gone down the offensive coordinator route, brought in somebody to really mentor Justin Fields, because they've had defensive guys for decades. Montgomery, he's already had a breakout season. I'm not sure if you'll have another one. Why do I do it? To eventually get to the monetization. I'm trying to get there. You have to get to like 1,000 subscribers, stuff like that. Little tapper here to the third base side of second. Lindor is able to reach with that speed, loses his bucket yet again. Luke Getzey doesn't move the needle for me at all. I mean, it's just I'm going to start a podcast pretty soon. I do a lot of short videos. The short videos, I'll probably be limiting those going forward after reading up more on the way YouTube does those, but I'll still post quite a few of them. I started out doing YouTube videos that were long format, 10-minute long videos. I'll probably go back to some more longer videos, maybe not quite that long. Chargers should be a playoff team, even as good as that division is. They need to get in the postseason. Albert Abreu on for the Yanks here. I think the Bears, though, made a mistake, though, going with Eberflus. Eberflus will be a great defensive coach. He'll get you to 8-8 wins, but he's not going to be the coach that'll mentor Justin Fields and get them to, 13 wins in a year. I don't think that's a question. Nagy is a good coach. I mean, I know a lot of Chicago fans don't believe that, but he was. For what he was able to get out of Trubisky in that time frame. Yeah, the Cowboys will easily win the NFC East. I don't think they'll do anything in the playoffs, but they'll win the NFC East. Alonso lines this one into center right in front of Judge. Lindor and Alonso again getting it done here for the Mets. Yeah, I think I went through the Bears schedule. Was it the Bears schedule? No, that was the Lions schedule I went through previously. The Lions are better in that division. The Vikings, I believe, will be 9-8, somewhere around there, 10-7. The Vikings and Bears will be very similar in the standings. But to your question of do I write any blogs or papers? Not yet. Jerry Jones will always be popular pretty much everywhere he goes. I mean, he's Jerry Jones. I mean, he goes to Monaco and everybody loves him. I mean, he's Jerry. Everybody on the outside always sees him as the problem with what's wrong with the Cowboys. He doesn't really do much with the personnel nowadays. Of course, he's still the GM and everything, but he mostly relies on his people within the organization to do most of the work. He's more of the CEO type, steering it down the highway, keeping it on the rails. He's become a very good owner. And just look at how much value the Dallas Cowboys have added since he's become the owner of the team. And sure, it's not all about money. It's about winning, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But he's become a very good owner. And he's always going to invest in the team. You never have to worry about that. I'm not sure about that. Did you see the contract Kyler Murray signed? I'm going to make a video on this just because I thought this note was very interesting. Vogelbach coming in here to pinch hit for Escobar, or for Canna anyway. But the contract that he signed, Kyler Murray signed, 5 years, $230 million, $160 million guaranteed. Did you see the one stipulation that they have in there for Kyler Murray? He has to study film 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. That tells you all you need to know about where Kyler Murray is in his development as a quarterback. It tells you he hasn't been doing it at all up to this point. Why have it in the contract at all unless you're the 8th? Mets trying to stretch out their advantage. Still here anyway. Thank you guys for joining us. If you're just joining us, hit that like button and the subscribe. Really appreciate you guys. Gained about 103 of you guys now over the past 3 weeks or so. Trying to reach 400 by the end of the week. Let's see if we can do it. Escobar due up next, hitting 220, 12 homers, 42 RBIs. Hit a two-run homer back in the first. But what do you guys think of the Kyler Murray having 4 hours of film study written into his contract for 5 days a week for the length of that contract? That one, a foul ball down the first base line. A.J. Brown, though, I've told you guys what I think about the Philadelphia Eagles. They did a great thing by trading with the Saints this year to give them an extra first-round pick next year. That way, if Jalen Hurts doesn't work out, which I fully don't expect him to, he's a running quarterback. He doesn't know how to pass the ball or throw the ball down the field. He can't hit an open receiver. He's a dink and dunk passer. I just don't have any faith in Jalen Hurts. None. Jalen Hurts as a starting quarterback, because he made the playoffs last year, is why everybody was vouching for him. Watch this year when they don't make the playoffs, how quickly they eat him alive. And I'm not saying he's a bad player. I just don't think he's a quarterback. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I wonder if his position is even at quarterback going forward. Abreu gets ahead of Escobar here, 1-2. That one well outside, 101 mile an hour fastball. 2-2 now. Thank you guys for joining us here tonight. Really appreciate it. The pitch by Abreu. Fastball right down the middle of Escobar, unable to catch up to it. That's the second out of the inning. Mets in front here in the bottom of the 8th. 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Mets. 3 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Yanks. Thank you guys for watching with us tonight. Really appreciate all the support. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button already, please do so. Really appreciate it. Jeff McNeil digging in. Takes ball 1 just off the outside corner. The 1-0. That one looked beneath the knees, but called a strike there. Even speed can fool the umpire every now and again. The 1-1 pitch by Abreu. Down low, and it's 2-1. I like the tweet sent out by Joel Sherman. The most predictable strikeout in MLB history has just happened. Diaz versus Gallo. For those of you wondering about who, that one gets in the dirt and away from Jose Trevino, and both runners advance. It's now 3-1 now, the count, though. First base open now. Should McNeil reach, it'll be J.D. Davis next. As I was about to say, if y'all have been paying any attention to baseball this year, one of the best players in all of baseball has been rookie Julio Rodriguez for the Seattle Mariners. He just led off the first inning against the Rangers with a home run to start that one. He's been fantastic. McNeil serves this one out into left, gets down, 1 run is home. They will hold the runner there at third, though. Runners now at the corners, 6-3. Looks like Guillorme is indeed coming off the bench here for the Mets. Lindor gives him a few tips. Do I see a Yanks comeback? Well, they're going to have, I believe, Trevino as your first batter. Due up. Marwin Gonzalez took over at shortstop in the last half inning. Trevino has, I don't think he struck out yet today, so he'll be your first batter. I don't think you lift him for a pinch hitter. Your only pinch hit options after Gallo's been exhausted. LaCastro and Hishigawa. Yeah, you're not pinch hitting for Trevino. Then you have the top of the order. No, I don't think they're going to come back. Yeah, I'll do another White Sox game. I actually got them on my list of other options as we go down the rest of the week. With my work schedule, I was trying to plan out which games I'd do. I was thinking about doing the White Sox, I think, Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember which. Yeah, I was thinking about doing them on Saturday. They play the A's. For those of you who are just joining us, welcome back after the stream froze there for just a moment. Our apologies. Mets have tacked on another run here in the bottom of the 8th. They now lead it 6-3. Albert Abreu finding a little bit of trouble here in the bottom of the 8th. He's bounced around the league this year a little bit. Rangers, Royals, Yankees after starting the season with the Yankees, and then was traded for Jose Trevino, who he's now battery mates with at the moment. The 1-1 down low, and it's 2-1. Thank you guys for joining us. If you haven't hit that like button already, please do so. Follow us here on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, and on Twitter at UpsideSN. We'll be starting a podcast here in the next week. You can follow us on Anchor when we post that, and then they'll distribute that wherever else they send it out to. Little tapper to third. Donaldson whips it on to first, and that's the end of the inning. But the Mets add on a run. It'll be Trevino, LeMahieu, and Judge due up against the closer for the Mets, Edwin Diaz. Check on that White Sox game for you. Kopech versus Hampson. You're only the, third time through the order right now? Kopech's pitched very well so far. I wouldn't worry too much. I mean, you are going through 2, 3, 4, 5 of that lineup. That is a little scary, though. Hampson just reach, I guess. Well, there's one out. You can get a double play ball here on Bryant. One of the weirdest offseason signings this year, Chris Bryant to the Colorado Rockies. Basically put them right back in the same boat they were with Nolan Arenado. They spent money to get Nolan Arenado to stay on the club, and then they decided to eat some of that contract for him to be traded to the Cardinals so they could get better prospects back for Nolan Arenado. And then they give the exact same money that was remaining on the Arenado contract to Chris Bryant, and they're back in the hole where they were. Yet they're still paying Arenado. They're not going to be very good because of that. Looks like we're about to get back here in New York. Going to the top of the ninth anyway. Mets in front, 6-3, looking to lock it down. Their bullpen performing very well today. Could say the same for the Yankees bullpen, who's came in after Montgomery only went 2 1/3 innings today. Only gave up the 1 run there in the 8th. They pitched very well. First pitch to Trevino, popped up down the first base line, foul. Trevino with 7 home runs, 29 RBIs, hitting .259 and a .725 OPS. Jankowski has entered the game for Vogelbach in left. Another foul by Trevino, and it's 0-2. In his last 10 games, Diaz has only given up the 1 hit, 19 strikeouts. Told you, Zach, that double play might happen. Just saying. That one misses well outside in the other batter's box. 1-2. I get it. Fan is short for fanatic. You're all right. Little tapper here. Slow roller. Escobar tries to flip it in time, but is unable to get it out of his glove and onto first in time. And Trevino is safe at first. Got to think they may have a pinch runner here for Trevino. Let's see if they actually do pull him. Probably not going to be Higashioka or whatever his name is. Probably going to go LeCastro if they do. I don't know. Let's see what they do. I think it was safe. But he stays in the game. They're not going to pinch run for him. I suppose they do need 3 runs, so it doesn't really matter if he's the lead runner. LeMahieu is 0 for 4 on the day. Takes strike 1 there. He does have an RBI, though, in the game. Now 0-2. Looks like he's struggling with the heat. Yankees trying to work a comeback here against the crosstown rival Mets. 3 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the Yanks. 6 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Mets today. Nice 100-mile-an-hour fastball just above the zone. LeMahieu laid on it, but able to foul it off. And it remains 0-2. Diaz sets, and the pitch. Off-speed slider just off the plate, is able to get LeMahieu there. Oh, yeah, he was definitely overmatched in that at-bat. It wasn't even that competitive. And it'll be up to Aaron Judge to keep this thing going. If he's able to stay out of the double play, Rizzo will be next. Best on best here with Edwin Diaz and Aaron Judge. Judge, remember, had that solo home run back in the first inning. He's also walked in today's game and had a single. Fouls this one back to the screen. 100-mile-an-hour fastball there. Judge raises that average up to 297 today. 38 home runs and leads all of baseball. He was ready for that heat, though. The 0-1. Another 100-mile-an-hour fastball up and in. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. Just kept rising up and up and up and wasn't able to get the bat head out to it. If he can duplicate that pitch, he probably gets the strikeout here. The 0-2 to Judge. Slider, a little tapper to the mound, flips to second. Oh, he dropped the ball and isn't able to record any out. That's going to go as an error on Diaz, as it looks like he dropped it on the exchange between his glove and his hand. It's the second time we've seen it in as many innings. But now the tying run comes to the plate in the form of Anthony Rizzo. Yankees aren't done yet. Looks like it just slipped out of his hand as he was going to throw it. Just whip. Yep. Right at the top of his whip, it just went flip. Anthony Rizzo had that home run to left center earlier in the game. Went back-to-back with Aaron Judge back in the first. Home run here would tie it. The first pitch to Rizzo, tapped foul down the first base line, 0-1. 91-mile-an-hour slider there to start him off. That was a nice piece of hitting by Rizzo, taking that pitch on the outer half of the play. Double play does indeed end it. Good pitch there. Another slider right on the outside corner. Rizzo looking it in all the way. Diaz ahead, 0-2. The set and the pitch. Oh, check swing, and he definitely went around there. That was 100 miles an hour up and away. Just Rizzo just saw that speed and immediately got that bat head out there, hoping that it was going to be in the strike zone to at least make some type of a contact, but unable to do so. Yanks down to their final out now. I think Rizzo was hoping for off speed there. Gleyber Torres digging in. Does have 15 home runs and 43 RBIs on the year. First pitch by Diaz. Slider right down the middle of the plate, 0-1. Torres hitting .264. Runner on first and second here for the Yanks. 2 away here in the top of the ninth. Mets in front, 6-3. The pitch, just off the outside corner, 99-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's 1-1. The New York crowd is pretty loud right now. Most of the Mets faithful standing. Judge gets his lead off of first. Trevino off of second. Slider at the bottom of the zone, tapped backwards, and it's 1-2. Yanks down to their final strike. Appreciate you guys joining us again. Thank you. Diaz soaking in the environment. The pitch, just off the outside corner, but a huge swing and a miss by Torres, and this one is over. Mets take it 6-3. 3 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the Yanks. 6 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for the Mets. Mets were able to get to Jordan Montgomery in the first for a 4 spot and never looked back. Montgomery only able to get through 2 1/3. Taijuan Walker able to stretch his outing out after it looked like he was going to have a rough outing, giving up that back-to-back home run in the first inning to Judge and Rizzo. Was able to still go for 6 strong. Yanks bullpen only gave up the 1 run in the 8th, but not enough as the Yankees fall to the crosstown rival Mets 6-3. Thank you guys again for joining us. Trade deadline is coming up. A lot of names on the market. Juan Soto, Shohei Ohtani, Luis Castillo, Frankie Montas, Martin Perez, Andrew Benintendi. A lot of names out there, a lot of moves to be made. Jose Quintana, Wilson Contreras, Ian Happ, Tarek Skobal. There's a lot of names that are going to be going over the next couple of days. Expect a lot of headlines. Tomorrow, I didn't get anybody to give me any kind of input except for you, the Cards and Blue Jays. I'm really leaning towards that Reds and Marlins game to at least see how Castillo does. So we might do kind of a split between a couple of games. Check in on Castillo's line as it goes, but we may do another one. If you'd like us to do in the comments section, really appreciate all the support, all the subscribers we've gained today. We've gained a whole bunch of them over the past 3 weeks. In the past 3 weeks, we've gained about 105 now. Really appreciate you guys who've subscribed. Those of you who like the video, thank you very much. And we'll see you guys probably tomorrow night. A little late to start the second game as this game ran a little bit long, but we'll try to make some short videos, get those posted, and we'll start making some of those long videos as well with training camp getting underway for the NFL. Quarterback controversy out in Carolina, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, who ends up getting it. But if I had tomorrow again, we'll be doing a live stream, checking in on the last start for Luis Castillo, possibly one of the best starting pitchers on the market right now. The Yankees are sure to have scouts there, along with a number of other teams in need of starting pitching. But let us know in the comments section which game you'd like us to watch, and join us tomorrow for the chat. Appreciate you guys joining us, and y'all have a great evening, okay? Have a good one, Zach.